Hey guys, it's me. I'm editing the video. Um, Real quick. This is gonna obviously be a movie as it's per title. Also, yeah, on my later parts, two things. One, I got really lazy with the thumbnails because like I don't know what happened because that was like months ago. But I got really lazy with the thumbnails. So like when we get to these later parts, might be a little bit confusing on what's going on. So like bear with it because y'all probably haven't seen that. And also for the people that are most likely new to the channel, when we start getting into like some of the later parts, there will be some wind because there was a couple times I was recording, but I was like halfway done recording and a shitload of wind came through and all that type of stuff. So yeah, you'll still be able to hear it, but it was very upsetting. And don't be shy to check out my other what if Krillin kept training or took his training seriously, I think I titled it. And also I do have a My Hero channel, and if you want to support me, you can Cash App, PayPal me. You also can join my membership on my other channel, which I will be setting that up. Well, I already have it set up, but like, you could go check that out. Catch you.
Hey yo, what's up with the peeps? Now, let's do a what if. What if Yamcha survived in the future timeline? Okay, sorry about the fan. It's hot as hell in here. Not hot as hell, but it's kind of warm. But so, simply put, what if your boy Yamcha stayed alive? And before we continue this, presuming this gets some views and stuff, what I want y'all guys to do is also tell me what other ones y'all want to see, because I have some things on the chopping block potentially. What if Tien, Krillin, basically the whole Z-cast, if they survived, how would this change the story? And also different little factors would play into, it happening. But for right now, let's just stick with Yamcha. So everything happens the same. Yeah, we keeping it simple, but not too simple, right? When the initial attack happens, we're just gonna say your boy Gohan was here with him. Everybody, let's just say your boy Gohan wanted to fight just a tiny bit more. So, Goku dies, make Gohan a little angry. And so he starts trying to get training from people. Vegeta's like, train on your own, Brad. Well, Vegeta's kind of like just a douchey, meanie, poopy face right now. So he don't even help your boy. Your boy gets no love, no help. All right. He tries to train with Tien, but he can't find him. Krillin is off just being Krillin. And then the only person that was willing to train him was Yamcha, okay? So I think it was like 6 months before the androids attacked. So we're going to say during this time period, Gohan and Yamcha are actually training with one another. And they develop a decent little bond and shit. And so they throw some quality hands, the usual. Good hands, weave, bop, good hands. Drop kick, go on hitting them with some of that shit. So, and then we would have tiny little snippets of him showing them the spirit bomb technique, showing them the wolf and fish. He already knows the comic come out, but just showing him, a little more detailed. Now, let's talk about brain died on me. Let's talk about when they're about to fight the androids, right? Everybody get rolled up in a blender. Goodbye. Versus Vegeta. Vegeta just arrogant, cocky. I'm a super. These niggas jumped this nigga on some Jujutsu Kaisen flow. He get jumped. Everybody's like, oh shit. They all realize they about to lose. They retreat. Fall back, man. Fall back. Everybody's like, gang, Sue. Andrew said, fall back where? Come here, big fella. So what ended up happening, right, is Vegeta gets rolled up. Then they pursue the other ones as they scatter out, right? Yamcha and Gohan, they gotta go. Gohan's angry. He's like, I want to fight. I want him. Let me at him. And Yamcha's like, Gohan, we have to go. Look, I'm not Goku. I'm not like Vegeta. I don't have no, power. I'm not hell. I'm not even like you. And it's like, we have to go. Think about it like this, Gohan. Their sacrifice would be in vain if we don't go.
Because, like, we could just say Piccolo, like, right before he got rolled up, he was like, run. And then he, like, did, like, a super explosive wave trying to kill the androids on some shit, right? So, everyone else used that opportunity to dip. Tien, Chatsu, they got butt fucked. They're out. GG's, no response. No Dragon Balls neither, so y'all don't get a second chance. So, Krillin, Yamcha, and Gohan is like, they crying, they upset, they mad to the motherfucker, right? And they like, damn, what we gonna do? These androids kind of strong. So they tried to make it back to Capture Corp, but Android 18 and 17 like, hey, where y'all going? You literally, these niggas have a heart attack. All right, they don't know what to do, bro. They mad goof, right? They shook it. You feel me? And so Krillin realizes Yamcha's kind of strong. Yamcha's actually a little bit stronger than him. Just a little bit weaker than Tien. We'll just say during the 6 months. I'm sorry if this time is off, but hey, I control the what if, damn it. But yeah, they're just kind of like, Krillin realizes what he has to do. He exhales and tells, go on. Huh? Yeah. What's up with it, Krillin? I can't do the Krillin voice, but he's like, if you died, your mom would kill me. She's like, wait, what does that have to do with? As the androids, basically, they were above, and one was, below, 18 below, 17 above. They eventually, right in front of the Z fighters. Krillin powers up. Yamcha, it's like, Krillin, what do you think you're doing? A man's got to do what a man's got to do. Yamcha realizes what's about to happen. He looks at Gohan while Gohan's like, alright, I'll fight with sleep this nigga. Yamcha said, nah, bucko. Baxter, they both like, I'm not gonna say Krillin hits him. I say Yamcha would probably do it. He gotta sleep this nigga real quick. Just don't want that nigga get a rage boost on some shit, bro. Nah, we not playing this shit, bro. He looked at Krillin and said, are you sure you want to do this, man? Because I got no problem dying with you. And Krillin's like, to think about it, or it'd be kind of like a little flashback. Gohan might be our only hope. Think about it. During the fight with Goku and Piccolo against Raditz, and you wouldn't know this, Yamcha. It would be more of a longer flashback, but for the sake of time, you wouldn't know this, but even if Gohan wasn't there, we all probably would have not survived that fight with Frieza. And then it would have different panels of different times that he had, these insane rage boosts and shit, right? So, if we can get Gohan to become a super... He's saying this, loud enough for Yamcha to hear, but not loud enough for the androids to hear. And he's like, if we can get your boy Gohan to turn to Super Saiyan and with some proper training, he might be able to do it. He's like, but why me out of... Hey, don't think we didn't notice. We sense your energy. Sneaking, training him and stuff. Originally, if Chi-Chi found out, it would be a different story, but she didn't find out, so it's actually kind of a good thing this happened. And Yamcha realizes, he's like, alright, man. He's like, yeah, I just want to give you one more bit of information. They have, it's almost like they're hugging kind of looks. And Android 17 would probably make a remark, oh, look at him, sis. The bald one saying goodbye to his lover. Or something like, facetious or sarcasm like that. And as, Yamcha's about to fly off, they're like, oh, you think we're gonna let one of you escape? Krillin throws a Kenzenzai, a Destructo Disc at 17, like, nah. He's like, look at me. He's like, all right, Baldy, you've sealed your fate. We was thinking about letting you live. And he's like, solar flare. Boom. They blinded. And he's like, Yamcha, go. Boom. Bow. Blasts off. Just, Nigga gone, bro. Yamcha, you never seen Yamcha again, man. Like, he gone that way. Like, goodbye. Can't see him. And androids can't see for shit. Krillin like, damn. Krillin kind of mad, bro. I'm not gonna hold you, bro. That nigga mad. He like, damn, I'm really gonna die. He's like, nah, fuck that. Nigga, the real nigga lives, bruh. But 17 got hit with it. 18, on the other hand, didn't. She realized, she was like, wait a minute. I think I know what he's about to do. Because we could say that, like, he angled himself upwards a little bit full. And then the sun just started, like, hitting 18. She was like, I don't trust you. And then, you know, right before it happens, you know, 17's like, sis, why you covering your eyes? It's like, oh, no matters. I'll just kill the body. So Krillin tries to dip. 18 said none of that. She's like, if you didn't almost cut my brother's heads off, I would think you're pretty cute. Krillin, so do you still think I'm pretty cute? Like he really tried. He was like, shit, you never know. He might be good. No, it didn't work. You hear a very loud explosion and Krillin's kill count, it goes up. It goes up. As Yamcha's flying off with the unconscious body of Gohan. And a tear falls down because Yamcha has a flashback, bro. And if you didn't watch Dragon Ball, it won't mean much. He thinks about all these niggas, bro. All these fights they've had up until the end. Like, damn, bro. I'm the only one alive. And, like, Yamcha isn't, like, really... prior to the 6 months, he's not really that strong. He's like, damn. He looks at Gohan like, damn, nigga, you better... Ooh, you better be a real nigga, bro. Ooh, those niggas... Like, he's just panicking on the low, but he eventually makes it back to Capsule Corp. We're going to leave her off here and see how this video do. Catch y'all niggas later. Also, tell me, do you prefer if I do gameplay, or would you prefer to see my face and all that glory? If I do face, typically the likelihood of uploads will be a little faster. A little bit, depending if I'm getting any views or not. Also, since you made it down to this far of the video, check out my other channels. Link will be down below. I got a gaming channel, Naruto channel, and a channel where I mainly post my hero. Catch y'all later. I'm about to go to sleep, and the fucking comment for today is going to be pineapple milk. Try it again. What if Yamcha... Hold up, let me get my headphone. What if Yamcha survives the future timeline, okay? So, we're doing part 2 to this, and I doubt anyone's gonna show up for it since I took a year-long hiatus from it. But I was worried about my hero channel and my other channels, so they wasn't getting much love at the time neither. But let's not waste too much time on this what if, okay? So basically, this is after the fact, right? After everyone got rolled up in the blender, okay? Yamcha survived. Gohan's mad, bro. He's heated. He's like so fucking angry and shit, right? And like he's just like fuming. He's like, why did you do that? Why? We could have helped. And then Bulma smacks him. Hey, Yamcha's like, whoa, Bulma, come. No. Y'all are the only hope we have left. And you're worried about saving them? Not even Vegeta, and not even Vegeta could do it. He was a Super Saiyan. So what do you think you could do, Gohan? You're not even a Super Saiyan yourself. Gohan falls down crying. I know, but Mr. Piccolo, Krillin, Tien, I wasn't strong enough. And then Bulma's like comforting him and shit. It's like, I know. But look, I guess I want to say I think she's still pregnant. I think no, because when Goku died, she was already done with the pregnancy. So she would show Gohan, what's his name? She would show Gohan Trunks and be like, this is the future. He is the future.
y'all have to protect it. Hell, if I was able to fight, I'd probably be out there with y'all too. And then Yamcha was laughing at that, and he was thinking, but that thought would be later on. And so now we would just fast forward to when Yamcha and Gohan is training. Like, they're throwing some good hands and training. They're training the best they can, okay? Because if we're being realistic, they aren't able to do any big body major training and shit like that, right? And Gohan's like, you know, he's even adopted his father's gi and stuff like that, but we're gonna have it to where a big difference is here, right? Where Yamcha's like, hey, Gohan? And he's like, yes. You do know you're not your father, right? And he's like, what do you mean? Let me ask you, why are you fighting? To kill the androids? No, why are you really fighting? He's like, Yamcha, what are you getting at? See, I don't really remember too much. Well, I don't think he would say stupid, but I think he would say I'm not as aloof as Goku. But didn't you want to be a scholar when we first met, back when we was fighting the Saiyans? Back when we were fighting Vegeta and Nappa? And Gohan's like, well, yeah, but, oh. And I feel like that would be like a very eye-opening situation, right? Because he would just be like, oh shit. Now he has a reason to fight versus just, I gotta fight. And it also changes his mentality a lot too, right? So they're throwing some quality hands, and then the androids attack, okay? And so Gohan and Yamcha basically goes out, and Yamcha, I'm gonna say that Yamcha might not be as strong, and we can say there's like another 6 months or so. I'm not gonna say Yamcha's dumb strong where he could like take on a whole android, but I'm gonna say at bare minimum, what he lacks in power, he can make up for technique. I just like, cause like the human potential in Dragon Ball Z was surprisingly high, but it got overshadowed by all these aliens, if you think about it, right? So if they're training in 6 months earnestly with a hybrid Saiyan, I think a human could gain some really good gains. Plus, Yamcha is battle hardened, okay? He might not be like a super strong warrior like Vegeta, where he's been in countless fights and endless wars and stuff like that, but he's gotten a good share of battles, and he's been outclassed most of his life, okay? And this time around, he was keeping up with his training versus everyone else, besides Tien. So I'm gonna say that Yamcha's fairly strong here. I'm not saying he's like, if he's not Super Saiyan level, I might say he's like low Super Saiyan, like just slightly below it if I need to. And this is based without using a Kamehameha or using any of his special moves. So they go up and pull up. They basically try to fight. Gohan's trying to hold off one of the other androids, but he's basically just getting smacked around. Something devious, okay? And it's just really bad. It's just really sad, okay? And Gohan wants to help Yamcha because Yamcha's getting kind of beaten up, but Yamcha's like, Wolfang Fist, full power, it starts dogging on, and we'll just say he's dogging on 17 because I feel like that's justified. And he's like, I'm not done yet. He shoots the key blast. Android puts a berry up. Thought you would do that. My homie Krillin showed me a few things. He shoots the key blast up, and then when the android looks up, he's like, wait, what is he doing? Boom! Yamcha kicks him out of the bubble, and then scatter! And boom, all the fucking key blast scatters, and Android 17 is mad. He's like, okay, look here, bucko. I'm getting real fed up of this one. Hey, are you done killing that brat yet? Yes, obviously. And then the second she looks away, Gohan gets angry. He's like, boo, boo, boo. He just starts beating up on 18, right? And I mean maliciously beating on her. Boo, 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 boo. I'm a Seiko. Boo, boo. And then they both get up. Well, not both get up, but I'll just say that like 17's like, hey, yo, sis, you good? And then both of them come through with like a mini combo, kick that motherfucker down to the ground, and they look at each other and like, huh.
And then they both charge up and attack, and then they realize that the androids aren't done for. And then, at this moment, the android's like, yeah, we're gonna have to go ahead and kill, any, mini, mighty, mo. And then they look at the Yamcha and they're like, yeah, you gotta go, bucko. And then they like start trying to double team. And as they're double teaming, what the hell is that? They double team Gohan's like, oh hell no. He tries to go in, but basically they stop double teaming him and double team Gohan, beating down on this nigga something devious, bro. I mean, like beat. Let him get up, psych. Send that nigga packing. Yamcha's flying, and he's basically putting up a decent fight against both of them. I'll just say due to maybe past training that he did with Tien, and then he was using like the multi-form, so he's able to actually put up a fairly decent fight against both of them. Not enough to gain an advantage, and also if he wasn't losing stamina, they might be equals, okay? But he's losing stamina, so they're not equals in this regard. He's fighting, he's wavering them off, and then he's like, damn, I gotta go to Gohan to make sure he's not, injured. So he basically shoots out a large amount of ki and then fly past them, tries to get Gohan, but they basically just kick him down. And then they're like, ah, shit. He's like, well, time to kill y'all. And they both basically project their energy outwards, or like waves it up, puts it down to the ground and say goodbye. And Gohan's like, no. He stands up. I feel like 17 would be like, yo, sis, look, the little brat still got some kick in him. Maybe we got to put a good, better beating on him or something to that effect, okay? And then Android 18's like, wait, what's up with his hair? Him? No, poof. And you see lightning sparks and stuff, and his hair is just violently shaking, and he's just convulsing, and he's like, and his muscles bulk up. Boosh. I am sick and tired of you bullies. No. I am sick and tired of you. As he's just like violently getting angrier and angrier. I just wanted to be a scholar, live my life in peace. First, life just had to take my dad away. Then Mr. Piccolo. I didn't give a damn about Vegeta, but he had to go off and die too. Krillin was like a damn godfather to me. Why? Why? And like he's just exploding with power. Dude. And like they are terrified, okay? And I mean terrified. Go on. Basically, Android 18's about to try to go ahead and kill Yamcha so they both can deal with this. Gohan appears behind her, just kicks her up to the ground. Kicks her up in the air. And then he looks at 17, and he just does like a roundhouse kick. Dude. I am sick of all of this. And just lets his power soar. And so he puts like a really good beating on them, okay? Like to the point where they're almost dead. But Gohan, he has a lot more control, right? Because after Piccolo died, he started doing a lot of more meditating, and he started being a lot more conservative and truly like embracing his rage, but at the same time also keeping it under control. We can also add a retcon, a light one, but like his rage got Piccolo killed. So that's gonna make him be a lot more cautious. So before his power ran out, he gets Yamcha and flies as fast as he can as Yamcha's basically passing out, okay? And that's where we're gonna leave this part off. I hope y'all guys enjoyed. Oh, it's suffered from my POV because I haven't uploaded part 2 yet. But I don't think anybody's gonna bite their thumb or whatever the saying is. But I digress, okay? Part 3 of what if future Yamcha survived, okay? So your boy is out here, and this is like right after the android issue, okay? Like these niggas are sobbing, okay? But Gohan came through with the big clutch. But now let me explain something here. Gohan's never actually had proper training in the future timeline, okay? And this has been explained throughout dozens This has been explained throughout dozens and dozens and dozens of videos, okay? And if y'all need me to, I could do like a mini part explaining like how this timeline differs, right? So with Gohan, he was already upset in the first place of, you know, not being able to save nobody. But he's made more of a connection with everybody throughout the 6 months prior to the androids attacking, because he was with Yamcha. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying everybody was Kumae and everybody was like best buddies, but he might have seen Krillin a couple of times. He might have seen Tien a couple of times. Now, and I also did say that Piccolo wasn't willing to train him. But I'll justify that by saying Piccolo was like, you don't need to be training. You don't really need to be training during this time of peace. You probably need to go be a scholar or something, right? Or some shit like that. So now he went Super Saiyan 2 very, very briefly. But he was in more control than he's ever been, because remember when Krillin had the flashback and talking about how Gohan might be like his savior and Yamcha's technically the strongest human before everyone died, right? Okay. Yamcha, knowing this, he helps Gohan focus on his inner ki and help Gohan contemplate on his anger. And without Yamcha saying anything, he's seeing Gohan go Super Saiyan at bare minimum during the meditation. But the problem is he wasn't able to maintain that. And he tells Gohan, that feeling you're feeling right now, control it, harness it, focus on it. So that's what Gohan was able to do. And since the only person that fucked with your Gohan during this whole incident was on the cusp of dying, and he was too powerless to stop him, in retrospect, it pushed him over the edge even more, okay? Now, you may say, oh, he should have been ahead and go ahead and win Super Saiyan. But I feel like if I made this variation of Gohan go Super Saiyan already, it won't set up for what I'm trying to go for. That's why I had him go Super Saiyan 2 to make it even more of an issue. Since he's worked on control and he's also trying to work on focus, he hasn't completely snapped as quickly, because he's not inherently trying to suppress it, but he's also not inherently trying to embrace it just yet, okay? I do apologize for this audio this time around. It's just the only time I really can record. So this is why he had like a snapping of the bottle, if you may, or popping of the lid. So he snapped more than he intended to, okay? But let's talk about the aftermath. Enough explaining. The aftermath is Gohan's out for a couple of weeks while Yamcha is doing some minor training by himself. And he's also was able to work on something. He also tried to remember something during back when the Saiyans were attacking. And he went up to the, tower, and he was like, wait a minute. We trained up here during the Saiyans. And like he starts reminiscing with a tear in his eye, low key. And he's like, damn, that's crazy. That's crazy. He's gonna be thinking about like mini flashback about like them training and how crazy it was. Like he swear to God that shit was like yesterday and all this shit, okay? And I digress. He keeps looking around and he eventually finds like this area. Basically it's the time room, what is the time chamber. He finds the time chamber, and there's like a note to and it's in Popo's voice, to who this may ever concern. If you see this note, that means I'm no longer here. I think Popo wouldn't be dead, but let's say he went somewhere or something, okay? He's like, to whoever this may concern, this is the room of spirit and time. One day here is equivalent, one day outside is equivalent to a year in here. May you use this to prevent the menace or the plagues that have, come to Earth, or something like that, or Popo-esque. So with that being said, Yamcha says there ain't no way. He's had a couple of ideas that he wanted to try, but he didn't know if it was gonna work or not. And he doesn't want to test it when the androids can attack at any time. So he's like, Gohan's been out for a couple of weeks or so, he looks over and realizes there's like a load of food. He's like, and Yamcha don't eat that much anyway, so he's like, all right, bet. So he goes ahead and hop in that bitch, bro. And for him, bro, he is training his butt off. And we would literally have like a mini montage. Damn. We would literally have a mini montage of many times he were gonna give up and just yield to his training because it was too difficult. But he'll just be like, nah, Krillin would be disappointed in me. Or Yamcha, not Krillin, Krillin would be disappointed, Tien would be disappointed. And then like at the peak of his training, he's like, I gotta show Vegeta humans get surpassed to their limits too. Then, like right when he really was about to cave, he swear he heard Goku's voice. Come on, Yamcha, I know you're stronger than that. You can do it, buddy. Ah! And then Yamcha does it. Power flowing through him. Energy coursing through his body. His eyes is a different color. His aura more wild and more sinister than it's ever been. And Yamcha with this deep, like, almost not robotic, but almost demon-like voice. I've done it! I've done it! And then he powers up, his aura exceeding mass amounts, like proceeding out of his body. And then he passes out and screams, I did it. Yamcha is unconscious for maybe a couple of days or a couple of weeks. Wakes up, mad hungry, okay? And then he goes to get food and clean up, and he's like, damn, how long have I been in here? He looks at his tally and realizes that he's been here for almost a year. And he's like, damn, I need to go. I need to get out of here. And after he finishes up his last roundabout of training, he goes out to go check up on Gohan. But he's like, yeah, Gohan should be awake by then. But as he's flying, he realizes something. He's like, wait a minute. It's only been a day. He's like, oh my God, I can't believe I just thought about this. Why didn't I just wait for Gohan? But then he remembers reading the note, and it said a normal person's allowed to do 2 years of training, but the thing would close forever. But that's been retconned, so we're gonna retcon that too. And he's like, the recommended amount of time for training is 2 years max. Anything more than this, and it might be too mentally straining on the individual, and they might go insane or some shit like that, okay? So Yamcha's like, perfect. I can train with him, get him strung up, help him learn Super Saiyan. Yes. And so Yamcha's really feeling himself, right? And so this is where things get interesting, okay? Which is actually where we're about to end it off, but not just yet. So Gohan eventually wakes up, but before he woke up, Yamcha made it back. Androids are attacking, okay? And Gohan rushes out against Bulma's wishes. I can't just sit here and do nothing while my master's out there fighting those monsters, those machines, the killing machines. I'm sorry, Bulma, but I have to go. Ha, boosh. And Gohan basically like jets out and flies off, bro. And he's just flying like, please don't be dead, Yamcha, with his hands in front of him. Please don't be dead, Yamcha. And then he hears something. He hears like this echoing roar. Wolfang Fist! Ha! New technique! Wolfang Fist Super! Boo, boo. And he's actually complex. He hears it, but he doesn't see it. Yamcha is actually putting up a decent fight against the androids. And Yamcha was like, ha! Finally! I'll show you, Vegeta. I'll show you the true capabilities of a human. Ha! And he proceeds to fight him. He's putting a good beat on him. But Gohan doesn't see that he's still flying, but he can just hear it. And he can also sense Yamcha's energy. And Yamcha starts getting ragdolled because of the stamina issue. And since he's not a Saiyan, I'm gonna also say that he's putting up a good fight, but he trained the form because he saw how taxing Super Saiyan was. So he decided to train the form itself to make sure he can turn it on and off, but he realized his shortcomings, okay? And he was like, damn, I can't even give Gohan this advice. And he proceeds to get beat on. Gohan frantically rushes in, and he was like, "No, Yamcha!" And then with that momentary distraction, that's when the fight turned the tides. Android jumped that nigga, shot a ki blast at Gohan. Gohan, he's too injured. He's like, he tries to fly away, but it'd be one of those anime moments where they're like, no, I'm too injured. Fuck, I should have listened to Bulma. And then boom, ki blast. Boom, 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 boom. Multiple ki blasts, multiple ki blasts. Yamcha eye gets cut. Boom, boom, no, it doesn't. Boom, 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 more. And they're just covered in ki blasts, and they send off the final one. And then at that moment, they're both critical damage, and they're like, huh, it looks like that was a one-handed job. What do you say, sis? Android 18's like, oh, please, let's just go. They got my clothes. That fucking wolf boy over there got my clothes all dirty. Ha! That's what she said. You're so annoying. They fly off. And as you would have it, reminiscing, because it's like it's going to be a triple reference, but referencing to when Gohan needed to give Trunks a pill, or not a pill, a senzu bean. Let's have a flashback here. When Krillin was hugging him, he was giving him 2 bits of information: the potential time chamber and senzu beans. And Yamcha had a handful of them, but he didn't want to just use them willy-nilly. And he also was kind of one-handed, if you know what I mean. So he opened it up and fed one to Gohan and was like, you're the future. I gotta make sure you live. And he started to slowly bleed out. And then Gohan woke up and he started spazzing. He was like, Yamcha? He looked at one of the senzu beans, but realized that Yamcha wasn't breathing. And he was like, Yamcha, no. And then he went Super Saiyan. Now let's explain. Gohan realized that Yamcha only got injured because of him. Like, if he didn't show up, Yamcha might have been able to actually take on the androids, okay? Like, he had them right there, 4K big lacking, okay? It didn't work that way, all right? So Gohan in Super Saiyan, actually controlling it for once, rushes over to Bulma and say, we got a problem. And then boom, bam, he gets healed up eventually. And we're gonna have a brief momentary time skip, but that's for the next part. Catch y'all later. So I don't remember what part I'm on, but what if Yamcha survived the future timeline, okay? This is right after they got done throwing some quality hands and shit with the androids, and your boy Yamcha is down an arm now, okay? And so he's in critical condition, and we're gonna go ahead and say that a little bit of time passed because he was actually avoiding eating a senzu bean, which he technically has more than what he was letting on, but that's his own episode. So after all of this, and Yamcha's fully healed up because he wants to heal up the long way to, you know, spare the few senzu beans they got, he started training with Gohan, and Gohan this time around is actually able to go Super Saiyan, okay? And he goes Super Saiyan, and Yamcha and them are like, all right, we got to learn how to control this shit, okay? And so this is around when Gohan is around the same age that Trunks is, pretty much, if this was original canon, right? Where the timelines are still the same. The only difference is Gohan's just not alone, but it's kind of mirroring a Trunks and Gohan relationship, but Yamcha and Trunks. And we haven't explained the form that they're using neither, but that will be for a potential later part or at the end of this video. So we got it to where they're basically training, and it's literally almost like a direct correlation, okay? How Gohan's transforming, how he's struggling to transform. But I'm gonna say, since it's Gohan and Gohan's been here from the beginning, him transforming to a Super Saiyan is gonna be a lot easier, okay? And then they train to maintain Gohan's Super Saiyan. Because Yamcha was like, if your form's anything like the form I got, it's gonna be hard to use, okay? So they were like, I'm trying to think. I think Goku would probably do something around, So he would literally start speaking out loud and kind of talking like Goku. Well, the Super Saiyan form is really strong to train, but I wonder what would happen if I made it just as easy as my base form, and then I trained in the form just like that, right? So what ended up happening is that's what they basically did. After Gohan got accustomed to the form, they basically just trained and kept training in this form and just getting more and more powerful, right? So we'll do a mini time skip and say maybe after like 3-ish years, so Gohan's about a teen right now, they're thinking that they're pretty strong. Gohan's basically mastered Super Saiyan, and Yamcha's mastered his Wolfang form. And basically what I'm gonna say his form is, and then we'll actually continue into what happens next. But his form is tapping into his human's desire and almost not becoming a wolf, but tapping into his how do I describe this? Like, you know how like some people might use animals or something for their power? It's almost like that. But he blends that in with a strong burst of ki on top of a Kaioken-like transformation. He doesn't have the form itself isn't really a true mastery of a form, but it's like Kaioken with his wolf alter ego. So it gives him a tremendous power boost in some form of a way, okay? There will be more to explain, but it's not everything in life is explained. That's the justification, because what I plan to do for it later and to make it more of a complete version will happen momentarily. Well, not momentarily, but on like a future part. So anyways, they go off, and as per usual, they haven't heard nothing from the androids for like months at an end. 3 years have passed, and normally the androids are always destroying something, but for 3 years the androids didn't do anything. So it ended up happening, right? They pull up on the androids and they're trying to figure out what's going on. So they pull up, they see the androids, and they're like, oh, looky, they got different outfits on. Their outfits look reminiscent to kind of like Goku and Vegeta's, right? And one of them even has a teen's fit on, but there's 3 of them. Wait, what's going on? They see 16, right? And they're like, what the fuck is this? What is going on here? And yeah, they awaken 16. After Yamcha beat them originally, they went down to Dr. Gero's lab to see if he had any of their old clothes. And yes he did. So they put that on, but they thought it would be something better to do. That Yamcha guy was talking a lot of shit when he was beating on them, talking about training or whatever. And they never really thought about training, because if we're being realistic, they're still technically childs in the sense of. But they thought it wouldn't hurt to just do a little bit of training. And who better to train with than, what is his name? 16? Huh. Isn't this Dr. Gero's kid? I think y'all remember him talking about this, sis. So for the last 3 years, the androids themselves has been training, not big body, not super heavy, but they've been training something light training, okay? They've been doing a little 1-2-1-2 practicing, right? And if any of y'all have seen Super, you know where this is going. They're not going to be extremely strong, but watch, this is going to justify their strength and why Gohan is struggling to fight them later on. Okay, so the fight commences, and it doesn't matter who fights who, but we can say that Yamcha's fighting 17 and Gohan's fighting 18, and they're actually both even. Everybody's even here. And he's like, okay, we can do this. And then This is where things start getting dire. They start getting low on stamina. Goo, 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 goo. Gohan gets pushed away. And then 16 is right behind him on some towering flow. Like, where you going, little nigga? That nigga gets grabbed up and he's like, oh shit, this is like when I fought Raccoon. He started getting dogged on. Boom, boom, boom. Like, if y'all play Dragon Ball Z Fighters, the touch of death, oh, that's Gohan right now. He's getting bodied, something devious. And then Yamcha is getting jumped by these niggas, bro. 18 and 17, like, yeah, run your pockets, cuz. Beat, 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 good hands. Beat, 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 good hands. Where you at? Where you at? Nah, fuck it. Let him get up. Let him get up. Beat, 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 good hands. Good hands. I mean, that shit's atrocious, bro. Like, the way you see these niggas getting beat down on, you almost feel bad for them, bro. So, they're like, what the fuck is this? What the fuck is this? Yamcha tries to throw out some moves, but it don't work. Gohan's barely able to stay conscious. They're like, damn, they really think they're about to die here too. And then Yamcha and Gohan look at each other, and then simultaneously looks at each other, stands up, runs at each other, and shoots out the spirit ball. Two of them. Yamcha's spirit ball goes behind Gohan and vice versa. Then they like combination move. And then they make a big explosion and dip. Oh, they dipped. They basically are just sobbing, bro. They were able to make it back home bloodied and battered, bro. They, oh, what the fuck? What the fuck was that? I didn't know. This is Gohan saying it. Come on, man. We spent 3 years training for this. 3 years. Yamcha is down on the ground beat, bro. He's like, fuck. Fuck, I can't believe this. There's another android? Oh my god, how could I have been so stupid? If I just kept my goddamn mouth shut. They're both just beating up on themselves mentally, bro. Then Yamcha and Gohan was like, damn it, if we could get at least 1 more year of training, we would be okay. And then he looked at Gohan and was like, you think so, little guy? And Gohan's like, yes, man. I almost had 16, but I didn't know he was so strong. It was like I was fighting my dad, but worse. Huh. After we heal up, we're gonna go get that 1 year of training. Be like, what? But the androids in a day. Yamcha, what are you talking about? Did you think I just magically woke up this strong? No. We're gonna go get some real training here. Just momentarily. And then this is where I leave this part off. So Yamcha and Gohan, eventually he gets all the preparations and he's like, you probably should go visit your mom. You're going to be gone for a year. I mean, for her, it's going to be another day or so, but I'm pretty sure you haven't checked up on her in a while. Gohan's going to basically be like, I don't know about that. He's got more of a manlier persona just because of the environment he's growing up in right now. But basically, simply put, they eventually go off to visit, his mom and stuff, right? And so basically, they go over and talk to Chi-Chi for a little bit, and she sees Yamcha, and she's about to start berating them and stuff, but then she sees how strong Gohan is, and Yamcha missing a whole arm, and she just stops. She's very somber about this because, like, she sees Gohan's eyes and it's not the same of the baby boy that she remembers. He's growing up and, he's an adult now. Even though he's technically not, but bear with me here. And she realizes that at this point in time, this may be the last time she sees it. So she stops, walks over to him, gives him a really big hug, and tells him, go on. Remember, you're not your father, okay? things get too scary, promise me you'll get out of there alive, okay? And also, remember what you're fighting for. You want to become a scholar, right? Well, you're not gonna have no future with the androids. And please trust me. Trust me more than anybody else. Wish your father was here to help us with these androids. Then maybe not all, and then basically she would say, maybe, oh, our friends wouldn't have had to die if Goku was still here, but the past is in the past. So please, do what you can, okay? And that's where they leave that off. And then eventually she talks to Yamcha ever so briefly, and then they have a conversation. And she's like, do you really think I'll be able to beat the androids? Like, I don't know. And then Yamcha's basically, as Gohan's off doing something. Or doing something, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what Gohan would be doing right now. And maybe he'd be probably doing some light sparring in the background. But basically, Yamcha and Chi-Chi would basically be talking about the androids, and Yamcha's like, no, I kind of messed up here. I got a little overzealous with my power, and I was talking way too much about the training, and I let it get to my head, Chi-Chi. To be really fair, I don't think I'm going to be able to beat the androids. And she's like, but what about Gohan? And then before she could finish, he puts the only arm he has up. I don't think I will be able to beat the androids. And then they both look at Gohan. Do you really think he can do it? Chi-Chi, you may have not noticed this, but that kid has... An old friend of mine's told me he has some crazy potential. You remember the battle back with Frieza and stuff, right? And she's like, yeah, briefly, but Goku never really talked about it too much. And then Yamcha's like, well, Krillin's basically dying speech was talking about that potential that Gohan has. Even if I don't live, I gotta make sure at any and every cost that he does, because he'll be the reason that the androids are no more, even if it takes a couple more years. It's really sad that I got to put my faith in him. However old he is at this point, I want to say he's like 11 maybe? I don't know how old he was when the androids attacked originally, but basically it'd just be like, I got to put all my faith into him, and it really hurts. It hurts my pride. Even being the only two Z warriors left, even though they wouldn't say that, but being the only two warriors left, I'm still not even the strongest. And then just literally just having a talk, and then just yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you, Chi-Chi. I know we didn't really talk too much as, the years were passing by, but it was good to have y'all as friends. I'm glad I met Goku all those years, because if I didn't, I wouldn't have had all these memories, and I'd be like, wait, Yamcha, why are you talking like this is gonna be the last time we see each other? As a slight tear falls upon his cheek, and he's like, because, Chi-Chi, this may be the last time we see each other. And she's like, what do you mean? And he's like, simply put, I don't think I'm going to survive it much longer. And that whole convo would go on for a wee bit longer, and then he's like, hey, keep these for me, okay? And then she's like, wait, but are thingies? He's like, wait, why is there only two? We might need that later. And tell Master Roshi that I left him a book here, but you didn't. Just tell him for me, okay? And she's like, okay, Yamcha, I don't get what you're planning, but I hope it works out for the best. Well, I do too. My life is kind of depending on it. And so, they fly off. And then they proceed, to basically blast off and stuff, okay? And we're going to have it to where they go to the time chamber, and they would start talking, and Gohan basically asks, hey, what do you think about, so how are we going to get this training in a year? The Room of Spirit and Time. He's like, wait, what? What's that? it was like, wait, if there was a room that we could train for a whole day, well, damn, I messed that up. If there's a room that we could train for a whole year in a day, why didn't we use it against fighting the Saiyans? To be fair, the place is actually quite intense. I don't blame you for thinking such. But in retrospect, I'm not gonna lie, I am 1,000 more times stronger than what Vegeta and Nappa was back then. Even though I had a crushing defeat as they're flying off to this area. And to be completely fair with you, with that being said, I mentally struggled being in there. But this time, I'm not going to be alone. I'm going to be with you. So I think we'll both be able to keep each other sane. What do you think? He's like, yeah, I'll do anything. I'll do everything I need. And like, he's just hyper eager and stuff. So they make it to there and they're just touching down. And then I'll say Popo's there. He was gone, but he's there. And he's just like, oh, Yamcha, it's you. And he's like, yeah. Go on? Yeah, this is Goku's kid. I'm pretty sure you know that. But anyways, you know why we're here. Yep, you already know where it's at, Yamcha. May your training yield the best fruit or something to that effect, And then they would go in. Yamcha in. And then Yamcha would, basically, they would walk out and Gohan would be amazed at this place. And, oh, gravity. And then he would fall down to the ground. Yamcha would power up. Oh, this is gonna be annoying. The last time I was here, I spent all my time training to reach a new peak of power. But this time, go Super Saiyan. Him, then go Super Saiyan. Well, it's not Super Saiyan 2. It's just Super Saiyan. And he does that, and then, he does that, and then after that, Yamcha looks at him and says, simply put, we shall not leave these forms until we leave out of here. Gohan's like, Yamcha, that would be impossible. I'm thinking about it. I've been thinking about what Goku would do if he's in the situation, which is the best thing I can do. It's what's been keeping me alive this whole time. Even though Goku wasn't always the smartest fellow, he was an amazing warrior. I think Goku, if Super Saiyan's anything like the form I got, it probably is, but a lot worse. Since you have to rely on so much rage and anger to even get to the form, and then God alone maintain it? Nah. I think you're going to need to learn how to master it. You need to be in this form if it is like breathing. Okay? And we got to make sure this training counts. Because the androids are a lot stronger than what they were when I faced them originally, right before I got them. Well, he motions over to his arm. Right before I lose my arm. And then Gohan kind of looks down. And Yamcha's like, hey, none of that, Gohan. That's perfectly fine. It's okay. Trust me. If the situation was reversed and I was you in that situation, I probably would have done the same thing. And then Gohan's like, for real? Yeah, trust me. I completely understand your eagerness to wanting to help. Hell, back in the day when me and Goku were younger... I've always wanted to help out, but I just wasn't strong enough. But this time, I think I can make it up to them for not being stronger back then. By training you, the future. And then, they would have like a student moment kind of ordeal. Student and teacher moment. And then it would basically pan off to them getting their training. And then Yamcha takes his fighting stance. And Gohan takes a reminiscing stance pretty much like Yamcha. And then they begin training. And then, this is where I would leave this part off. Alright, so we pretty much left off with Yamcha and Gohan beginning their demon time training, eh? So, beep, 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 beep. We would just pan right back into it. Like, these niggas back in the thick of it, bro. They throwing good hands, bro. Good hands. We. Kamehameha. Yamcha smirking. One-headed Kamehameha. Blast, bing, boom, boom, good hands. backflip. Gohan punching Yamcha. Beep, 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 beep. But this Gohan, you could see it even in the brief scuffles, he's actually concentrating a lot more, and he's not just trying to brute force it. Now, you could say that's due to the fact that he's not getting trained with Goku, or the fact that he's getting trained by a human that can't solely rely on, brute force 100%, whatever the case may be. All right. So right now, Yamcha, spends a little bit of time saying, all right, we're going to work on a couple of combination moves. We might not use them anytime soon, but we want to have this in the back pocket, okay, just in case. And it's like, all right, bet, just in case we ever get an android off by himself or off alone, we want to be able to take, advantage of it. You know what I'm saying? And he was like, all right, no problem. Just make sure no matter what happens, you won't forget these combo moves. And even after we leave here, you keep practicing them, okay? And I'm sorry, guys, I'm laughing because I just know how I'm about to do this story, and I'm gonna be very content on how juicy this story is overall. And he's like, all right, so this is formation A, this is formation B, this is formation C, and then it would be like time skips as this is happening, of them practicing different combos. Yamcha's on one end, Gohan's on the other end. Or like if they're one person at the front, one person in the back, they're practicing all these different team combos and stuff like that. And Gohan's like, all right, cool. And now this is where things get nice, right? Is they start training, working on their forms, right? And this is my favorite part here. Okay. Because Gohan's like, wait, Yamcha, you never explained to me. I'm half Saiyan, but you're just a human. He says it with the most respect possible, but he's like, you're just human. How would you even have a transformation? He's like, well, apparently I'm not 100% human, but I can't confirm it. When I was in here my first time around, I was training, and I was in the desperate need of more power, and it happened. I awakened this form, as you can see. My features, his hair is not fully spiked up, but his hair is a little more pronounced. It's like a in between of regular hair and then Super Saiyan hair. So it's spiked up just a little bit more. And he's sitting there like that, and he's like, yeah. So it's a weird alternate state. It's kind of like I'm using, you remember Goku using Kaioken, I think against Frieza, if I recall correctly, right? And he's like, oh yeah, my dad did use that move, and then they're having a flashback about it and shit, right? And so he's like, yeah, it's something like that, but not inherently Kaioken by itself, okay? It's more of a primal state. It brings out all of my animal instincts, and since one of the things that I'm most familiar with are wolves, I think I was able to truly tap into that side of myself. So I would call this wolf stage 1. He's like, oh, wait, stage 1? Does that mean there's a stage 2? Yes, in theory, but I've only been able to make it to 0.5. And it's really 1.5, but 0.5 sounds cooler. It's like, I've only been able to make it to 0.5. And he was like, wait, 0.5? Wait, does that mean you have an extended form from the one you're using now? And he's like, yes, actually, I do. He's like, ah, and then he powers up. Muscles start to bulk up a little bit. His nails start to kind of sharpen up a little bit. His overall features start to be more savage-like and just more wild-like. And his voice gets slightly deeper, and he's like, this is stage 0.5 or 1.5 for the long version. His hair doesn't flow, but his hair is long to begin with, but it has more of a majestic wolf-like manner. It's like wolf. I'll probably call it WP now. Wolf personified, and he's just like, now this is really amazing. Now I haven't fully got it, but I know I can take it a bit further as he proceeds to power up, and his ki spikes, right? This is basically a homage to how Goku was training in the time chamber originally. But with all this excess power, he was like, if I can control my ki a little bit better here, his muscles start to bulk up a little bit. Boom, 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 boom. And he's like, but the problem with this is, this was something I was testing, even though I didn't get full information on it. This is still in beta, but this one is amazing. He's like, wait, we can defeat the androids with that. I know for a fact that would be stronger than... I know for a fact we can beat the androids with that. Wrong. Gohan's like, wait, what? This wouldn't work. And I was like, wait, what do you mean? You're like so much stronger, like 300 times stronger. Hell, maybe even more. Against two androids that don't lose stamina? Go back to base form. But Yamcha, you said, go back to base form, Gohan. I want to show you something. And he's like, okay. He's a little scared because he's like, he's so strong. I hope you don't try to attack me. Come over here. And they're basically right next to each other. All right. We're going to make it, he shoots like a little spear ball. We're going to race to there. And we're going to go at our fastest speeds. Okay? And Gohan's like, all right, here, if you make it here, I'll get you some chocolate. And they've been in here for a couple of months. He's like, chocolate? What you mean, my boy? He's like, I brought me a few chocolate bars with your boy. He's like, I'll give you a piece. He said, shit, say less. Gohan powers up in his base. He's like, shit, say less. He's like, ready, set, go. He said, they both like sprint off. Boosh. And then Gohan makes it there. And he's like, all right, I won. I got the... Oh. Gohan just gets hit with realization. He's like, exactly. And he's like, yeah. And this dude was just sobbing. He was like, yeah. That's kind of why it sucks. This lack of speed is not optimal. So I have to just stick with 0.5 until I can crank it up all the way around. Because this access, this hybrid form, or this form here, just, it gives me strength, but that's very insufficient when in an actual combat situation. And he's like, okay, that makes sense. And then he's like, but don't get me wrong, though. That doesn't mean that I'm weak by much. He's like, wait, what? Kaioken times 30. And like, the ore that's around him is almost like kind of like how Naruto's Nine-Tailed Fox ore is. And he just, woof. And you just hear the woof noise. He's like, I can crank it up to 50, but then he cranks it up to 50 times 50. Boom. And you're just looking, the ore, he's just basking in the ore. I can hold it to about here for a decent amount of time without losing too much stamina or, getting, hurt, drained out too bad. And he's like, well, what, how? I thought the Kaioken damages the user's body. Yes, without proper ki control. Goku probably never bothered training this form, especially since he had Kaioken against the Saiyans, which, once again, I wasn't there for because I was weak and died. And then he had, then y'all basically shot right off to planet Namek and he got a new transformation, even though Kaioken isn't a transformation, it's a technique. And I doubt he ever bothered touching it again. And he probably wouldn't have touched it for many, 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 many years, for all we know. Think of it. Your Super Saiyan is approximately, give or take, maybe like a 50-ish time multiplier. Versus the 50-time Kaioken. And Gohan's like, oh, I see. Wait, what if I combine Super Saiyan? You barely can even contain Super Saiyan. You need to work on your ki control. And one of those things Piccolo's always saying, you might need to meditate a little bit. And that's going to be where we leave this part off here, my boys. All right, we're back with another part. And in this particular part, we're going to just be going over Gohan concentrating. He's trying to focus on his ki and keep his ki under control, which he actually starts potentially Yamcha looks over and it's like, what's going on? Which, hey, I'm sorry if this is wrong, guys, okay? So don't shoot me if this is wrong. But since they're in a different dimension, the rules may be a little bit different. But Gohan was trying to keep his ki, all of his ki inside his body, because he was realizing that he had a lot of ki leaking outside his body. So he was just trying to keep some of it in. And during this process, Yamcha was like looking over at Gohan, but just kind of far away, far away, because he was doing some training while Gohan was meditating. And he swears he couldn't sense Gohan's ki for a while, and his hair turned it red. But he just brushed that off and then, kept doing what he was doing. And so what ended up happening now is Gohan would basically just be doing not necessarily Tai Chi, because that's not Dragon Ball Z S, but since I'm the god here, it would probably be more like a very slowed down fighting while trying to keep his ki like skin level, like where it's just on the outside of his body, just barely. And he's like just focusing on that and trying to keep that and maintain that. And then after, of like, what? I'm going to say they've been here for 6 months. So after 2 months of just Gohan training on keeping his Super Saiyan like it is, just breathing and making sure that it doesn't go out of control. And Yamcha trying to see if there's any other advanced applications of his form, since his form is literally pioneered by him. Okay. He literally is like, damn, this is crazy. He's like, damn, I gotta make something up. And he swears that kid's over there discovering something brand new, but he can't focus on that right now. He's gotta keep doing this hard, rigorous training. And he keeps getting different flashbacks of like when he got his leg broken, when the androids first came, it's all these little things, the Cybermen, even though a lot didn't happen, more stuff happened to Dragon Ball than anything. And just all the times that he was just completely useless, and he's trying to use that as like motivation to keep fighting because he's the only warrior left. So he just keeps training, keep training, keep training, keep training, keep training, keep fighting. Trying to get his techniques better, trying to get all his shit better, bro. He is sobbing, bro. He's mad. He's mad, like big mad, okay? And he's like, I'm not gonna hold no one back any longer. And so he's like, he just gets his ki focused. And basically, he just gets overall stronger, okay? As I told you, he's the pioneer of this new tech transformation and stuff. So he's trying to, like, really get it to work. You know what I'm saying? Easier said than done. Easier said than done, my boy. So as he's doing this, hold up. Gohan is literally basically trying to tap into different emotions, because Yamcha did have a very good point. The Super Saiyan is very strenuous because it requires you to tap into anger. So he's trying to see if he can tap into love or care or, some type of level of compassion to see if he could really get his engines going without getting angry. And eventually he is able to enter like a more of a meditative tranquility state while still fighting. So this time Yamcha doesn't lose another arm, or he doesn't lose an arm. He doesn't lose an arm himself. So he becomes very, very more skilled and more, a lot more, what's the word for it here? A lot more tranquil, a lot more focused, a lot more steadied. It's kind of like how he was when he fought Frieza in his second form after he did like that fury of combos. He was just in the zone. He was in the flow, trying to actively be in the flow consciously versus just being not in the flow. You know what I mean? And not letting his emotions go wild. He's still using his emotions, but he's using the desire to protect, the desire to provide in the sense of, and serve in the sense of, okay? So after they do this or whatever, Yamcha's like, go on, do you think you can increase your Super Saiyan to any other levels? And we gotta still take in the fact that Gohan's still pretty young. And when Goku and Vegeta and stuff, like, well, hell, he went Super Saiyan 2 for like 10, 15 seconds and he was out for like 2 weeks, okay? Now, he did it in the original canon, but then again, he was also training with I don't want to say stronger Goku per se, just because Yamcha at this point in time is really strong. Um, hmm. But I would have to say that he was training with a Saiyan, okay? And Goku understands exactly Betum for Betum how the Super Saiyan works, and Yamcha just has a rough estimate. So training like that, and on top of that, training, I guess, with the father might be a little bit different, but it's a lot easier said than done because even Goku couldn't get Gohan to reach Super Saiyan 2. But now the stakes are a lot more perilous, and you know he's got to do a lot more. He's got a lot more on his back, okay, versus just being kind of like, damn, what do I do? So, with that being said, Gohan does try to crank it up a bit, and he's able to get to the extended Super Saiyan. He's like, ah. This is basically replacing Super Saiyan form since Super Saiyan is his new base form. And he's just like, he gets bulkier in his muscles, and he gets actually a lot stronger. And Yamcha's like, cool beans, times 20. You hear like this wolf noise, just like when Yamcha does the Wolfang Fist. And then it gets crazy. They start throwing some good hands for like this last week or so. They just start throwing like raw dog hands, and they try to stay at full power for as long as they can. Not inherently just like exhausting all their power, but just like about full power. Boom, 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 boom. And then for that like last week there, I'm gonna read back some. I'm gonna say they got like at least like maybe a month or two. So for a half of 1 month, or you know, one of the months, they're going full power, and then they calm it down a bit, right? And then they go completely like not full max power, but like Gohan's in Super Saiyan using all of his power in that form, while Yamcha's doing the same thing in his wolf personified form. And then they're going at it like that for like as long as they can, because they're really trying to make it into a marathon and not a sprint. Because I think if Gohan or Goku was there, they would be trying to just like immediately annihilate the androids, jump them, use everything you got and run away or something like that. But Yamcha's trying to use more of a tactical approach to it. And he's like, we got to stay in the fight as long as we can. One of the things Master Roshi always was telling me, if you wait long enough, or if you're fighting long enough, you might be able to catch your opponent off guard. And so this is pretty much where their training would almost commence. For like the last month or so, they're not doing shit. This might be their last time talking to each other. Yamcha is saying this internally. Gohan's just like, yeah, we gonna fuck these niggas up, bro. I got this new training. Me and my boy Yamcha, bro. I'm calm now. He hype. And then he just sees all like this potential, bro. And he like sees that image of like, not really Krillin, but just for the sake of like nostalgia, sort of. It's kind of like he sees Krillin and Yamcha. Like he just sees everybody. And it's like, you gotta protect Bulma. You gotta protect Bulma. Trunks. And yes, even you, Goku. Nah, but for real, he's like, you gotta protect Bulma, Trunks, and even her. And Gohan looks up, he's like, wait, did you say something? I didn't mean to cut you off. And he's like, no, Gohan. No, you good, buddy. And he's like, oh, okay. And then so he's just sitting there going on, bro. Talking about it. He gonna hit him with the 1-2. Then he gonna hit him with one knees. Then he gonna hit him with one knees, bro. Like, he's so hyped, bro. He's like so fucking ready to take down these androids, bro. So he could be a scholar like he always wanted to. And yes, he technically wanted to. There was many points in time in the story that he could have actually actively chose not to. Anyways, we're going to get to when they hop out, and then they all get new gis, right? We could just say Popo's that guy. He makes some new gi. And since, you know, Yamcha only got to one arm, he's like, you know what? I'm going to do Goku some justice. So he pops on that Goku gi one time for the 2-time, bro. And it's an actual Goku gi. We could just say that Mr. Popo got it from Goku's place. And he pops that bad boy on. He laces that bad boy. He laces that one arm up, or he might get like Gohan to do it. Just want to take one good look at Gohan. And about this point, I'd say we're probably looking at like a teen Gohan, give or take. And he like just tightens it. He's looking at Gohan like, thank you, my boy. So they basically fly off or whatever. And he's like, shouldn't we go visit like Master Roshi or somebody or something? He's like, nah, it's all good, bro. They fly off. They basically head back and check on Trunks, which I think Trunks would probably be like, what, like 5? I don't even know how old he is. I just know he's not like, Trunks that we know that Gohan's training, because Gohan's still like teenager. So yeah, I'm thinking Trunks would be probably about like, he'd probably still be a baby, if not like a little bit older. Okay. But regardless, I'm not gonna go too exact. Just rough estimates here. I don't want no one to quote me and shoot me. Anyway, so we would have it to where your boy Gohan is they're all getting ready and they're about to go off to fight the androids, right? They fly off. And then they basically sit at, the classic good old cliffhanger. Goku. Gohan's there, and then Yamcha's there, and they're just looking off. And he's like, Yamcha, are you okay? You're acting kind of weird. And he's like, yeah, Gohan, I'm good, buddy. And they're like, and then they're just talking like, damn, that's crazy. Because they're really just relaxing. Yamcha's relaxing because he thinks this is going to be his last day, most likely. Gohan's just relaxing because that's what he was told to do. And he's like, I got you. I'm going to not mess this up. And Gohan's just like, I'm not going to mess up. And then so Yamcha starts talking to him, and it's like, it's crazy, man. He's like, what? To think that out of all the Z Warriors, as he's just with his sleeveless left arm just flapping in the air, he's like, that's crazy. To think that after all the stuff I've been through, I'd be the last Z Warrior alive. Like, I'd really just be the last one out of everybody. Vegeta didn't survive. Yamcha didn't survive. Oh, man, and I'm just the last warrior, huh? That's crazy. And he's kind of like looking at Yamcha a little concerned on the way he's talking. He's like, damn, man, I'm sitting here training. Well, once upon a time, my rival, but he was on an empty stomach and I beat him barely. Ah, man. And I'm training his kid. Dang. I've come a long way. Only if I was able to get a grip like this a little bit sooner. I wonder how long it was going to take Bulma to build that time machine. Oh, man. It's crazy how I'm really the last Z Warrior. But Gohan, one day you'll be in my situation. You'll look back at this and have some nostalgia, okay? He's like, okay. And he's really just confused. Yamcha just started blabbering, going on and blabbering. Gohan is visibly confused, but he doesn't mind it. He likes this side of he likes this side of Yamcha. Instead of trying to act all cool or some shit like that, which he is cool to Gohan, because he was the only one willing to train him. But he's just like, yeah, you're gonna look back on these moments and really you're really gonna have a shits and giggles, and you're gonna understand why I did everything I do and why I did how I did it. And trust me, he looks at this arm. Please, this arm means nothing. It's a sacrifice for the future, buddy. Because if I didn't do that, you would have gotten hit. But Gohan, without raising his voice, but Yamcha, if I wasn't there in the first place, please. If you wasn't there in the first place, please. Hell, you're half of the motivation on why I'm even alive today. Because if it wasn't for me training with you, I'd probably be with everyone else in the afterlife, and you'd probably be up here all by yourself. Oh, man. It's really crazy. And then before Yamcha's like, oh, yeah, one more thing. On the off chance that boosh. And when I say boosh, I mean like a really giant explosion. With this explosion alone, everybody knows the androids are a lot stronger than what they were originally. And he's like, oh, God. It's like that you got to do something you don't want to do, but you got to do it. So you're like, but you don't mind doing it, but you know what's coming next on some shit. On some, we got to talk. And it's just some bullshit, right? Yamcha stands up. Goku Gohan stands up and they're like, the androids. And Gohan's just eager more than anything. And then they Gohan's like ready. He's ready to go. And Yamcha's like, all right, Gohan. He's like, he tells him like, hey, just stand back. I'm gonna go by myself. He's like, wait, what? I'm gonna see if I can at least take care of one of those androids, especially that 16. And this would be like a pan of 16 just towering over them, because he seems like to be the strongest. I'm pretty sure I could get the edge over them or something like that. You know what I'm saying? And Gohan's like, oh hell no, you got me fucked up. You think I'm about to leave you by yourself? I'm coming with. He's like, all right, cool beans, buddy. And then so Goku goes onto the right side. He's like, come here real quick. And he's like, all right, cool beans, let's go. I'm ready. And so Gohan's like, getting in his stance. It's reminiscent to what future Gohan did to Trunks in the canon. And so he's like, I'm ready. Let's go. And he's like, all right, cool beans. Gohan, do me a favor. Him? What? Yeah, no problem. I'll stay back and do exactly as you say. I will not mess this up this time. And he's like, all right, cool beans. And Yamcha knocks him out, reminiscent to exactly how everything else played out. And then he falls down. And as he's falling down, Yamcha's like, once again, as I tell you, and this is all happening as he's falling down. He's like, once again, when you get older, you'll understand exactly why I did what I had to do. I'm sorry, buddy. I didn't want to have to do this to you, but goodbye, best buddy. Or like, goodbye, student or best friend or something like this. I gotta go see if I can at least make this job easy for you in the future. You are the future. And then Yamcha flies off as Gohan slowly collapses to the ground. So Yamcha pulls up to the battlefield, raring to go, and he knows what he's got to do. He knows what his mission is. So basically, 17 talking shit like always, alright? He's like, oh, where you at? Where's your little boy at? Or your little son? I'm thinking he would say, where's your little boyfriend at? Your little butt buddy. I think it really would just be unnecessarily, and 18 would just scoff at him. It's like, can we get this over with already? While 16 is kind of in the background. He's like, I don't care for destruction. I want to kill Son Goku or some shit like that. Anyways, so the hands would start automatically. Yamcha would go full power, like max power off rip. It wasn't training for Gohan. It was training for him. He needed to have practice, actually fighting. Because what he's about to do is about to be real devious, bro. So he pulls up on these androids telling them, y'all some bitches, but he don't say shit. Because the last time he could have fucked him up, he didn't, okay? He literally got, not really cocky, but it was just like this, like, euphoric state. Because he went from not being able to even go toe-to-toe with Frieza to being able to outclass Frieza no problem. So it just was like a lot of adrenaline. And like, he was just talking too much shit about training. He's like, I think y'all, so let me get this straight. So y'all are able to train and get better results a lot faster due to your lack of stamina. So what if I beat y'all to the point where y'all can't gain much results from training? Or maybe no results at all. He said, please, like you think you can. He powers up fully. Kaioken. And he goes like stage 2. He says stage 2 will personify Kaioken times 100. And so he just powers up, okay? And he just starts dogging on these niggas. Something devious, bro. They're trying to keep up, but they can't. And he starts just beating on them maliciously, bro. No words are being spoken on Yamcha's end. While they're saying, what the fuck got into this guy? They just start beating. They just start trying to beat on him. But he's basically dominating this whole equation. Eventually, 17's like, hey, yo, big guy. Doesn't he look kind of like Son Goku? Well, first he'll ask for help, and then he'll say that. And then he's like, negative. Only 0.1000% Son Goku. Basically just saying this nigga not Son Goku. And he's like, God damn it. He trains Goku's kid. these parameters are satisfactory. So he arms up and basically helps. And he's like, just as I anticipated. He didn't want to wear Goku. He did, but he didn't. He didn't want to wear his Goku gi just for the sake of it. But when they were fighting last time, he heard that, you know, the big guy saying that this child is 50% Goku. This is perfect. And there's something like that effect. So basically now he's fighting all of them and he's winning, right? And so he basically proceeds to start fighting. He starts beating up on 16 really bad too. And 16's brain just starts malfunctioning. And 16's brain just starts malfunctioning, bro. That nigga's getting dogged on so bad. And he just starts going in like this berserk mode. And actually, for a couple of times, he started hitting on the other ones. But long story short, everyone starts to get beat up on. And Yamcha's winning the fight, but he realizes that he doesn't. His body starts to give out. He's using a Kaioken times 100 on top of his form. It started to give out. It's kind of like what Goku did when he first used Kaioken times 3, but just on a higher scale, okay? So Yamcha's body is really getting taxed, but he's able to hold it for a really long time. He actually kept this a secret that he could push it this high because he didn't want Gohan to get too hyped off of it. So anyways, he keeps fighting, and then, you know, 16's like self-destruct mode enabled. He tries to beat up on the androids a little bit more, but then he gets grabbed by the big guy, and he's like, I'm taking you down with me, son Goku. And he's like, what? Then he looks at the dude's eyes and see blood, and he's like, oh shit. And he's like, well, damn, the first time I died was to an explosion by some green thing grabbing onto me. The second time I died is something green thing dying to me. Wait, I have an idea. My plan might still be able to work. As 18 is helping up 17 and they're flying off, they basically watch as this is happening. And then all you hear is times boom. And then 18 and 17 fly away as there's just a big ass crater left. And then multiple hours pass by. Bulma's getting worried because she hasn't seen nobody. Chi-Chi's out looking at her window, kind of somber and very upset. And then Gohan wakes up and he's frantically panicking. He's like, no. No. He walks out and he's just like, he flies over to where, you know, the fighting was happening. And he's just looking for Yamcha. He's like, Yamcha! With tears in his eye because he doesn't sense Yamcha's ki. Yamcha, where are you? Yamcha! And he's looking around, he's getting very flustered, he's getting very panicked, and then he sees Yamcha and he's like, oh, thank God. But he sees Yamcha standing up. He's like, Yamcha, what secret training are you doing this time? And you can hear the denial in the kid's voice. You can hear the denial in his voice as he's saying this. Yamcha, what training are you doing? Why can't I sense your energy? You okay, buddy? And he looks up as he sees Yamcha's lifeless face. And he's like, Yamcha? And then as he like passes by, he's like, come on, man, this isn't funny. And as he's saying this, you see lights of like, sparks of like electricity hitting around him. Yamcha, please, buddy. Yamcha just falls, like, he sits on the ground, but it's like more like he got pushed down at an awkward angle. And he's like, Yamcha? Yamcha. And then Gohan's eyes go soulless for about 3 good solid seconds. And he looks and he sees a smile on Yamcha's face. And somehow that smile says, I did it. I did what I was set out to do. I'm not a failure. And then all you hear is Yamcha, no. It starts to rain as Gohan's hugging Yamcha's dead body. Or so you would think. And he's like, Yamcha! And then he lets go of the body, but it's facing up and not facing down. And he's like, Yamcha! And then he's just powering up. His energy roaring and soaring, and his ki going sporadic, and his head shaking. He's violently moving. And then he snaps, and then Super Saiyan 2 Gohan has entered the battlefield. And he's just writhing with rage and anger, and he doesn't know what to do with it, and then he calms down. He's still in Super Saiyan 2, but then he calms down. He was able to train himself just to the point to where anytime his rage was gonna overcome him, he'll get really, really calm for some reason. And then he looks at Yamcha's body, flies up, and just says, "Thank you, Yamcha, for everything you did." And for some reason, he had a weird sentiment. He don't know where it came from. But one of the things Yamcha was always saying was something like, if you ever see a man down in the battlefield with a smile on his face, don't take him away from the battlefield. He died on a smile on his face whilst fighting in a battle. He deserves that. This was a little bit of Yamcha plotting, but we'll worry about that on another episode. And so Gohan did exactly that while being a Super Saiyan 2. Looking down, reminiscent to how Goku was in Dragon Ball Z manga after fighting Frieza. He's like, "Thank you, Yamcha, for everything you did. Your lessons will not be forgotten," as he turns around and flies home. As he's like barely controlling Super Saiyan 2, and he goes out behind somewhere. He goes to a really decimated area and shoots out one. He doesn't even shoot it out. I'll say he does. He'll find the biggest rock he could possibly find. One of Yamcha's wanted to move. He wanted to make the Wolfang Fist more of a projectile. And so Super Saiyan 2 Gohan did just that. He cocked his hands back and cried out with tears streaming down his eyes, but still maintaining his focus. All you hear before the screen panels off to black is Wolfang Fist! And then it pans off black as you hear the wolf noises, and that's where we would leave this part off. Many years passed since the loss of Earth's, or at least one of Earth's greatest defenders, Yamcha. Gohan kept his training, not able to fully access Super Saiyan 2 like he did upon that one day, but he kept training in earnest. He didn't bother fighting the androids too many often because of Yamcha's cautious nature rubbing off on him, but he made sure to keep his training diligent and make sure he keeps his mind steady and make sure he keeps his power focused. And to be completely honest, he's still in Super Saiyan. So all that training, and he forgets that he's in Super Saiyan. The only time he remembers is when he looks in the mirror. He doesn't even know if he could turn off Super Saiyan if he wanted to. He's been in the forums for so many years now, and he's just like, damn, this is crazy. There's only a handful of times they might have had light scruffles, but one, he tries to keep his power down because he realized something. The androids always try to make sure that they're slightly above him. Not enough to just outright kill them, but just strong enough to keep toying with him. He believes that they would have killed him a long time ago if they wasn't training, but that doesn't matter. He'll use this opportunity to get beaten up by them and then get stronger and continue training. And he's smart with it, as I said prior. He's making sure that he doesn't release all his anger, all his power. Unless he gets a control of Super Saiyan 2, he doesn't think he's gonna stand a chance against them. He needs an overwhelming amount of power. In retrospect, he probably should have learned the Kaioken as he thinks about it. Kind of scoffing at himself a little bit. If he was any younger than what he is now, he'd probably beat himself up about not learning the Kaioken when Yamcha was around. But he digresses. As he's eating down with Bulma, and Bulma having a hard time, not even a hard time dealing with Yamcha's death because it's been a couple of years, but just as Bulma's talking about, well, shit, I don't know if you're Goku's kid or Yamcha's kid. The way you're looking, you got a scar there. Shit, next what? You're gonna go have an arm missing too? And Gohan said, well, that's not in the plans, but it would be kind of ironic, wouldn't you say? She said, sure would have been. And then a boy busted in the door. Mr. Gohan, please train me. He's like, he laughs and he's like, really now? he is having vivid flashbacks to when he was younger, and he was asking Yamcha, and when he was asking everybody to train him, and he was like, man, ain't that some shit? He said, damn, Yamcha was right. I guess it did come full circle. And so he's just looking at these niggas, bro. He's looking at them like, damn, really, boy? He's like, why would I train you? And this is the same thing Yamcha was saying, but he really was fucking with Gohan, but Gohan didn't know it, and he never did know it. But he was like, why would I train you? You're weak. You gotta be made, you got Vegeta's blood in you, but you can't even turn Super Saiyan. He's like, Super Saiyan? What's that? How do you expect me to train you and you don't even know one of the most basic or most crucial things being a Saiyan? Bulma walks away and kind of laughs. I mean, because originally she protested Gohan training, but since the fact that Gohan was able to get so much stronger and the androids are apparently learning how to train after fighting with Yamcha, they really don't have any options, and she's a lot more reluctant. So she leaves the room laughing because that's what Yamcha did to him. And Yamcha even told about the story about like how he was just playing with the kid, like he wasn't serious, you know, because he was like, the kid could easily probably beat me if he had enough motivation. But once again, he didn't notice. So Gohan's like, well, I might be able to teach you a thing or two. Let's see what you're made of, kid. So Trunks powers up or whatever, and he charges at Gohan, and he's laughing. He's like, no, buddy, that's not gonna work. You can't just try to get a little rowdy and try to control your ki like that. Trust me, speaking from experience, all that does is end up people dead. He's a little bit more morbid than future Gohan was, just because he had someone, then he lost it, versus than losing everyone. But one of the things is they start training and shit. And so eventually, you know, some more time passes. This is a little bit before prior time, I'm gonna say, because I want Trunks to get a good more training in. And so we could probably say a year or so of hard training, or rigorous training has gone in. And your boy is getting some juicy gains, okay? Trunks is. He's able to go in and out of Super Saiyan, unlike the original canon. He won't need the, boost of, Trunks or Gohan dying. So, which Gohan being stronger, Trunks being stronger, this is going to help out in the story in the future. And so, what ended up happening is, they basically, almost everything happens as per usual. Now, we would get into the point to where Gohan may or may not lose an arm. And so what would end up happening is similar to how it happened all those years ago. Gohan's trying to keep off the androids at bay. He's only trying to slip back just enough power to keep up with them, trying to get a gauge of where they're at. And Trunks will pull up, Gohan, I'm here to help you. And he's dying internally. He's like, oh no. Everything kind of turns gray for him because he knows what's about to happen. And then Android 18's like, this feels like a little bit of a deja vu, don't you say? And then she starts just blasting at Trunks, bro. She's letting that thing go. And Gohan's like, man. He's like, he powers up. He powers up just a little bit more than he did originally. Not originally, but just a little bit more than he should have. And then he blocks it the same way Yamcha blocked it for him all those years ago. And then they say, it looks like he had a little more spunk or a little more power, sis. Maybe we should up our training regimen just a little bit. She's like, I don't want to do that. You play too much. She's like, well, would you rather lose to these bastards? If they die, we won't have anything to play with, sis. Well, yeah, you are right about that. Wait a minute. Is he still conscious? His hair is still yellow. They're trying to copy me. Don't you mean us, brother? Don't think just because you dyed your hair doesn't change the fact that you're a natural blonde. Oh, shut up. You said you wasn't going to mention that no more. That's at least how that interaction would go. Then they would beat on Gohan's unconscious body for a little bit. And they say, pull his hair a little bit. And they'd be like, maybe that is his natural hair color now. Or maybe he dyed it. Oh, well. They like throw him up and shoot a ki blast at him. And then they're like, should we kick on this one a little bit more? No, not yet. We ain't gonna need a plaything when we kill you know, copycat over there. He's looking like that dude. Basically, they're saying he looks like Yamcha now, just because of the missing arm and because of how he has scars and stuff, and just his haircut. It's like, well, you do got a point there. Let's go ahead and go get our training in while they try to desperately recover. And so that would be how that interaction ends. Sometime later, Gohan will wake up, coughing up blood and a lot more injured than what he was originally. But thankfully, he has some senzu beans on him. After, you know, when he found Yamcha's body, he would immediately use those senzu beans and heal up on what's his name? Hill Trunks. And then I think he would break it in half. I think he would be smart this time. And so he would say, what would Yamcha do? He'd think Yamcha would probably give him a whole senzu bean like he did in the past, or at least what he thinks. He was kind of unconscious for a lot of it. So what Gohan does instead is he breaks that senzu bean in half so they can still have some more later. Pass them to some senzu, pass him one, eats it, almost goes unconscious, hands off a bigger half to I'll say about 75% to Trunks, and then passes out. Eventually, he wakes up in like a critical condition, but not nearly as bad as it was prior to what was it? Not as bad as it was in canon, okay? So after, you know, getting his like shit basically rocked in, they're able to recover a lot quicker and proceed with training. And so Gohan's laughing maniacally as he like thinks about what they got to do, and then he's like, all right, Trunks, go ahead and say bye to your mom for a while. He's like, wait, what? Why? We're about to go get a year's worth of training in a day. And then they're like, Trunks is just confused. He's like, what do you mean? He's saying almost everything Gohan said originally is the same thing that Trunks is saying right now, and he's laughing at it just because of the irony. He's like, trust me, you're gonna be gone for a while. Gohan gets his gi ready. He gets his gi ready, and then he heads out, and he's just like, yep, go ahead, tell her bye. He's like, bye mom, I'm gonna be back. Me and Gohan are gonna get a year's day of training in a day. And she's like, oh, you think he's ready for that? As you know, Bulma's saying that. Well, shit, I hope as well he is, because I'm down an arm. Well, I'm down an arm, and he's the best hope. Oh, and he's like, he's the best hope we got here at defeating of the androids right now, unless I'm able to figure out, you know, some new power, some new ability or something like he did. They always speak in Yamcha like in these like weird third person, or like he was like a legend, and they never like directly say his name. I don't know why, but they just don't. So I digress. They say bye and they're about to head out, and that's where we'll leave this part off. So we pretty much left this part off, right, with your boy Trunks and Gohan about to head to the Limmerheimer chamber, the room in spirit, you know, the time chamber. But oh, that shit was funny, hearing that on Team 4 Star. But sorry, hold up, let me fix my mic. There we go. Okay, I didn't know if y'all heard that. But if you did, cool beans, comment it down below. But basically, your boy Gohan and Trunks about to head to the room in spirit of time, okay? They about to get that big training in. And this is reminiscing to what happened a few parts later, okay? So, hold up. So, your boy Gohan is like, shit, let's get this training in. And they're flying there. I'm sorry, I'm rambling. I'm trying to think where I was. But basically, they fly in. Trunks is like, wait, Gohan, if we had this training this whole time, why didn't we use it sooner? We could have been and defeated the androids with all your power, and I could possibly try to catch up to you. And Gohan's like, oh, man, yeah, Yamcha hit the nail on the head with this one. No, buddy. This room in spirit and time, okay. The room in spirit and time takes a very strong toll. To be fair, that's one of the main reasons why I didn't bother using it. And on top of that, I didn't want to take the chance of me using it for the air quote last time that I could use it for. Well, Trunks would be like, interject and be like, what do you mean, master? Well, this is what I mean. It takes such an extreme toll going in there for longer than 2 years, could cause very big issues. And plus, unless you're immortal, having a flashback to Vegeta on Planet Namek, unless you're immortal, my boy, or you're, eternally youthful, we're having a flashback to when him and Yamcha was talking about Master Roshi. It's not the best place to go. For the simple fact is, what are you really going to accomplish? You're just going to go old. And Yamcha did give Gohan a bit of discipline when it comes to training. He's like, listen, you don't want to train too much, because if you train too much, all the gains you would get are going to be fruitless. So most of those years after Yamcha's death, Gohan trained, but he didn't overexert himself. He kept himself sharp and tried to sharpen his blade, but never to the point where he ended up dulling it in return. So with this being said, your boy Yamcha was basically just like, yeah, train, but don't overdo it, because if you overdo it, you won't accomplish nothing. I don't know if that's something Goku would say or not, but I believe this to be very true. So with this being said, and this being the point in case, they basically just kept training. Well, I mean, Gohan kept training, but without, messing himself up. I also want y'all to keep a note, this Gohan is still in Super Saiyan, okay? He's not in base form. Super Saiyan is his new base form. And he's been training like that for many years now. And one of the jokes I made, either the last part or the part prior, was Gohan doesn't even know if he could turn it off. And he was unconscious after losing his arm initially, and he was still in Super Saiyan. So this Gohan's a big deal stronger. But to balance this out, the androids, when Yamcha was beating them one of the times ago before getting 16, was talking about how he was talking about all this training this, training that. So the androids kept training just enough to be sufficient to fight against them, enough to keep them alive and play with them, basically so they could keep getting stronger and keep, toying around with everybody, if you know what I mean, right? They never got so strong to where they could one-shot anybody, but they made sure to stay strong enough to where they would never lose the battle, or at least that's what they thought. Gohan intentionally was going in weaker than he was each time that he does have a brief skirmish with him. Knowing that they won't kill him, he uses that to his advantage. Now the problem is they've adapted to the way he fights, or the way he's presented fighting, right? And he's basically mimicked everything he saw Yamcha do. So he's been making it seem like he only fights that way for a really long time. So with this being said, and this being pointed case, Gohan's a big deal stronger than what he's been letting on or portraying to be. This will come into play later. Since he's a lot stronger, that means Trunks will be a lot stronger. This all will have fruits later. Now, with all this being stated, instead, they eventually arrive, and Popo's like, hey, Yamcha, hey, go. Whoa. Oh. And he looks at Gohan. It's like, I don't know how Popo speaks, technically, since we don't see him too much in the show. But I can't really do the Popo impression, at least. But Popo would basically say, well, damn, I don't know. Maybe I'll do the Team 4-star impression. I don't know. Be like, damn, bitch, you looking like Yamcha and shit. You sure you're not Yamcha's a legitimate child or something? Something like that, maybe. I don't know. But I digress. So basically, he's like, right, I haven't looked in the mirror in years, but if you take away the blonde hair and the green eyes, me and Yamcha might be able to pass off either siblings or family. As I always did, I briefly asked my mother the last time I talked to her, well, a couple years back. I asked her, am Yamcha secretly my dad? As he was looking through some of the brief photos they did have as he got a little bit older, after Namek and stuff, he was like, I'm looking like not Yamcha. And he got the scar. Then he had the scar for a while. He did a little bit more training. He's like, damn, I'm pretty much damn Yamcha at this damn point. And yeah, so they would have that little laugh, hee hee ha. And then Trunks and Gohan would basically go in, and then Gohan would ask about the rations. He's like, oh, don't worry. I was able to, you know, basically, we'll just say he had some plants or something. And he was like, don't worry. I was able to, you know, really restock up over the years. It took me a while, but I was able to do it. So y'all should be good. And he's like, oh, perfect. So they go in there and then they plant their feet. And Gohan's like, yep, it's been a year since I've been in here, man. Whew, brings back some memories. And he's like, well, first things first, turn Super Saiyan. And Trunks is like, wait, what? Turn Super Saiyan. Trunks struggles to turn Super Saiyan. All right, cool. Now you're gonna stay in that form for the rest of the year. It's like a year. Oh, right, year. And this is where I leave this part off. I'll catch you on the next video. No, but for real though, they do some training, right? And basically he's literally helping Trunks. I'm sorry, there's so much apparel, I keep getting them mixed up. But it basically helps Trunks calm down, focus, harness this. And he kind of gives Trunks the inkling of the same stuff that Yamcha did for him and the stuff that he figured out on his own. And since Gohan understands how Super Saiyan works versus Yamcha having a rough estimate, I'm going to say that this progress and this training yields a lot better results a lot faster due to this simple fact, okay? So Trunks, instead of like Gohan spending, what was it, maybe like 6 months trying to get a grasp and trying to get, you know, a good foundation, it takes about 2-ish months. I'm gonna say the 4 extra months were just shaved off because Gohan knows exactly how he feels, literally, and exactly how Super Saiyan feels, okay? So with this being said, and this being the pointed case, it's gonna make it a lot easier when it comes to training someone with this. Then with that extra 4 months they spent, Gohan basically tells Trunks, fight me with everything you got, come at me like you're trying to kill me, and stuff like that, and they proceed to fight. Gohan's training regime is a lot more brutal than Yamcha's regime, because Gohan grew up with the androids. Yamcha was a little more laid back with his approach. He still put in work, but he was a lot more laid back. I don't think I need to take that away from his character, because one of the things I was thinking of when I was thinking about making a different what if, this all plays into it because we're about to end this one off anyways, is I feel like if Tien trained Gohan, I think Tien would have given up a little bit sooner just because of him being outclassed. Now you might not say that's in his character, but follow me on this logic, right? I think Tien would have been like, yeah, you Saiyans are sure something else. I gotta admit when I'm outclassed, and I'm outclassed here, but that doesn't mean I'm gonna give up and stop training. I think he would say something like this. But Yamcha, on the other hand, I think Yamcha would have a different approach, presuming he's been put in this situation. And I think his approach would be more methodical and more prideful, because he'd be like, fuck that. You think I'm gonna let a 12-year-old or a 10-year-old or 5-year-old outclass me? I'm Yamcha, for God's sake. I'm the desert bandit. Like, I think he would do something like that. And since he's the only one else and he doesn't have a scapegoat like Goku or Vegeta or Piccolo, not an scapegoat, but just some alien that's 1,000 years stronger than him and gets random power boosts for existing, he's gonna be like, man, I'm gonna show y'all I can put work into. Y'all might be dead, but when I die, I'm gonna rub it in your fucking faces. You know, some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? I think Yamcha would have more of that approach. So with that being said, Yamcha would still train, but he'd kind of be more like, let's relax a little bit. I don't think over pushing ourselves would do any justice. And that might also explain why Tien's probably so weak. Besides the fact that he's a human and he's been written that way plot wise. If we think about it, how Gohan was in canon, or whatever, it was also the fact that all he probably did was just try to train without lack of tutelage and without the lack of teaching and stuff like that. Okay, so with all this, you just raw dog train, you might not yield any results. You also do need to rest. Tien probably was always in the mountains doing training and never bared fruit because he never took the time to rest. He was trying to be so strong, he ended up becoming so weak. So that would be the explaining on that. Now, lightly, before I do cut her off, we need to talk about Gohan and Trunks' brief spars, which literally Gohan's a lot more brutal with it because he does know Saiyans come back stronger. Yamcha wasn't too sure on this, but Gohan experienced it, and he also remembers his war back on planet Namek. and Vegeta talking about Zenkais and stuff like that. So he was taking this to advantage. Plus, he's got to make sure that Vegeta's pride and joy actually has some, you know, fight in him. And he was training him maliciously. It was just like a brutal beat down. And he's like, man, Master, don't you think this training's a little too boosh? No, I actually don't. The androids are a lot stronger than this, which they technically aren't, but he's just giving this persona like, I'm not even the big bad. You got to worry about the big bad that's outside of these gates. I'm going easy on compared to on how they're going. Once they realize that you won't bring them enough fight or enough joy, they'll kill you and then kill everyone you care about. And then Trunks starts to flare up his ki, and Gohan immediately pounces on him. Instantly kicks him. Grabs him by the face as he's charging up a ki blast in that hand while having Trunks' face. And this is the last thing we hear before it fully cuts off. If you let your anger get the best of you, I will lose another arm. Kameha. Boom. And then it would panel black. Now, let me give you a quick reason why I think Gohan may or may not say something like this. One, he understood in the time chamber, I don't know if this is anime exclusive, but in the time chamber, Gohan did say Piccolo was right, you're too soft. I don't think Gohan has a problem with getting down and dirty with things, no pun intended, when it comes to training. And I think since Gohan knows how Trunks would be feeling, he needs this to push him. He needs him to get angry, and then when he gets angry, he needs him to control this, because if he doesn't control this, I'm not always going to be there to save you. Just like Yamcha wasn't there to save him maybe the few times he may have had an on and off scruffle with the androids once upon a time, okay? So I need you to be strong and keep your emotions in check. You need to be stronger than this, Trunks. I think it's more of a tough love, I need you to push past your limits type shit. Now, catch y'all later. Sorry about the rants in the between, but I think that was needed for the story. So basically, your boy Gohan and Trunks, they're training rigorously, as I tried to explain to the best of my abilities in the last part. So basically, Trunks and Gohan, they're going at it, right? They good hands. And this is around the 6-month period. And Gohan, this is code. Gohan is talking about his war stories. Man, Trunks, man, let me tell you, man, like it becomes relevant. Because I'm like, damn, you got your own war story. And Trunks is like, what do you mean, Trunks? I'm not as cool as you, Master. I'm like, no, man, think about it. You're a survivor in an apocalyptic world, and you're dying to protect people. And he's like, yeah, but wait, you're right. And so, think about it. You don't got your dad. You don't have any friends. Everyone died before, you know, before you could, you know, do anything with them. You got your own war story. If I pass, you're going to be the lone survivor. Like he was just talking about, like, you got your own story, my boy. He was like, yo, wait, Gohan, what is your war story? He's like, well, shit, I got a couple. Well, I don't know how much your mom's told you about your dad. She's like, wait, you know about my dad? Like he knows, but he doesn't know. He's like, yeah, your dad actually tried to kill us a couple times. And Trunks is like, what? Oh my God, for real? Yeah. And then he would have like a whole monologue about the Saiyan saga and like how he got abducted by Piccolo, but then there was this guy named Raditz that was apparently his uncle. Then he had to fight Nappa, but he was way too scared. He ran away. Then how Goku came, saved the day. And then after Goku saved the day, Krillin, one of his friends named Krillin, and him and Krillin had to go back to help Goku. Krillin threw a spirit bomb. Apparently Gohan turned into a great ape. Like, he's just going on. He's like, it didn't even end there. We got to get, not, he don't say these exact words, but he's like, we haven't even gotten into the Frieza saga. And he's talking about like how, you know, Frieza was just like this tyrannic dictator, and he would go on about the whole story of everything that transpired on there, talking about how Vegeta was trying to get immortality, how he gut sucker punched me, and this and this and that, and it's just so much pain, okay? Like, he's just talking about all of this shit that happened. Then he briefly talks about how right before the androids attacked, I wanted to get stronger. Even though it's not canon, I'll probably make it maybe canon. No, I'm not gonna do that. He's talking about like how, you know, he didn't like how he felt on Namek, how he basically just felt useless and had to wait for his dad. So he seeked out training. Piccolo, the person that trained him originally, or at least helped him learn how to fight, wouldn't train him. Tien was nowhere to be found. Krillin is just Krillin. He didn't even bother. He didn't even know where to go for Krillin to be 100. And so eventually he stumbled upon Yamcha, and then they started training. But then his dad died. Like, he gave Trunks basically his whole backstory. And he's like, damn. And now we're in the present. He grabs his arm, his missing arm. I'm down an arm. I got a scar. And I'm currently the strongest defender. Huh. Huh. Well, shit, Yamcha. He just kind of thinks about Yamcha, which in retrospect, he thinks of Yamcha in such a great light, just because the fact that Yamcha was so calm, so powerful, so strong. He basically how you would think of how Goku would think of his how Gohan would think of his dad in canon, but replace that with Yamcha. He still has respect for his dad, of course, but Yamcha was there for thick and thin. Because, you know, Goku died, obviously. So he'd be like, all right, that's enough talking. Let's get some sleep. They take a bath, and they would take a bath reminiscent to how it was when Goku did it with Gohan originally. But this time, it's another parallel because Gohan and Yamcha did pretty much the same thing, just the roles are reversed. And Gohan is constantly laughing and saying, that's that bullshit. So they take the bath, they clean up, and Trunks is like, Gohan, do you think we'll actually be able to beat the androids? Yeah. So they continue training. That's literally it. Wake up, clean yourself, shit, do all that shit, train, nigga. Keep training. And their training's a lot brutal. It's almost like he's taking a couple of notes out of Piccolo's and Vegeta's book. Even though he technically didn't know them for that long, he knew them long enough, if you know what I mean. So he's taking a couple pages out of their book, remembering how Vegeta was fighting, just how much of a warrior he was. And Yamcha also taught Gohan how to fight without, you know, one of his eyes, without both of his eyes, how to fight with one of his arms, just in case he loses a limb or something if Yamcha falls in battle. And so with this being said, if I had to put a number to it, he probably would only lose like 10, maybe 5 power points, some shit like that. Just for the simple fact is he didn't lose much in the sense of he already trained to be prepared for this potential outcome. All right. But it's a different arm. Like Yamcha lost the left, Gohan lost the right, something like that. That'll be important later. So now we got them fighting and shit, right? They're training. Just keep going. Boo, 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 boo. And Trunks got really accustomed to having Super Saiyan on, which his Super Saiyan on is, you know, it's on all the time, 24/7, no problem, no delays. And Gohan shows him the extended version. There's one version, he bulks up. I call this extended Super Saiyan. I didn't have much choice since I was the only Saiyan or Super Saiyan. I had to make up a name for it. And everyone's like, not everyone, Trunks is like, okay. He's like, this is probably a tier up above that, but it's still a level higher. As he starts to bulk up, he's like, hold on, why would you need any more power than that? That's literally enough to beat the androids. Gohan's like, all right, bet, Trunks. I know this is against what I said, but I want you to power down for me real quick. He's like, but do it. Trunks powers down. It takes him a minute because he's not used to being powered down. He powers down and he's like, okay. He shoots a ki blast, shoots it outwards. I want you to race me. He's like, okay, whatever. There's a chocolate bar. He's like, chocolate? We got chocolate? Where? I was looking. I didn't see. Don't worry, I would have licked too if I was you. But simply put, if you're able to beat me in this race, I'll get you a chocolate bar. I had a couple hidden up way before we even came over here. Just in case, you know, I got a little sweet tooth sometimes, pointing to his teeth. And Trunks is like, all right, bet. He powers up in full power and base. It's like, all right, you promised, right? Yep. And I won't hold back. He's like, all right, because he knows Gohan won't hold back against him. I mean, obviously he won't kill him, but he won't hold back neither. So it begins. Ready, set, go. Pew, pew. They both blast off. Trunks, realizing he made it to the finish line first, he's like, I won. Wait a minute. And Gohan looks at him walking up slowly behind him. Yup. I found this, let's just say this form is very strong, but what it lacks in speed, it makes up for strength. But that's a lot easier said when you're fighting two demon androids and they're both fighting you at once. You need any amount of speed that you can get. Oh, but don't worry. There's an actual form beyond this. I call this Super Saiyan 2, which I don't know if that would be the proper name for it, but I digress. And Trunks like, wait, what? Super Saiyan 2? You mean there's a whole nother level? And even if he didn't call it Super Saiyan, Ascended Super Saiyan, he would do what Yamcha did and just say Super Saiyan 0.5 or 0.15 or some shit like that, okay? So he's like, watch. Ha! Ha! And then, boo! He turns into Super Saiyan 2. And Trunks is like, oh my god, this power. And Gohan's like, I know, it's a lot of power actually. This is why I've been only sparring with the androids ever so briefly, knowing they're gonna keep me alive. It's more of a gamble, but this is also why I try not to fight with them too often. And since I had no one to lose, had no reason to get angry. So he kind of kept this calm, like, composure while fighting the androids, just long enough to beat him. I mean, not beat him, but long enough to fight him. Try to get his Zenkai like, you know, Vegeta did back on Planet Namek. So he did that shit, and he showed him. He's like, yeah, but this form is very hard to control. I wanted you to get at least to my level, so when you're training by yourself, you'd at least be able to concentrate. And I wanted to save you some time on your shortcomings. Just because you're able to extend to the next level doesn't mean that it's going to be useful. And Trunks is like, okay, I got you. He doesn't even really power back up to Super Saiyan. He just exhales and he's back into it. And he's like, all right, now you're going to need to go do your own training for, let's say, 7 months, right? For the next 3 months, you're going to need to do some training on your own. And I'm going to go do some training on my own. Try not to wander too. He points to the entrance. Try not to wander too far from this point, though. I don't want you to get lost, and I'm not going to be there to save you. So Trunks is going to have his mental battle, and Gohan's going to get his training, but I'll continue that more on the next part. Alright, guys. So we got whatever part we're on, because none of them has been uploaded when by the time of me making this. But I digress. So basically we left off where future Gohan and future Trunks went their separate ways as they were in the time chamber to train. Hold up. So Trunks wanting to impress his master, but you know, also him getting, you know, some foresight of, hey, don't fuck this up, because it could easily happen to you, because it almost happened to me. Trunks would spend his, like, I want to say either his first 2 weeks, because I don't think it would take longer than 2 weeks, just because Gohan showed him the advanced versions of it. But Trunks wanted to see if there was like any more power he could tap into. So he was getting more and more in tune with more and more in tune with his power, and trying to see if there's like a extended version beyond Super Saiyan 2, or you know, something like that. He tried it for about 2 weeks just to see if he could do it. Now, I'm not saying, oh, he just skipped, you know, he got Super Saiyan 2 and then it was easy or something. But maybe, like, he could tap into it for a brief moment. If you bear with me here, with all the training that they did do, And I want to say it was about a year or two in total of like overall training, and Gohan, you know, helping Trunks get the basis of turning Super Saiyan on and off. I think that this wouldn't be too far of a stretch to say that Trunks may be able to at least understand it or something like that. But the main point that I'm just trying to get to is Trunks wanted to see if there was some advanced application of it or something unique. But after he did what he did, he realized, he was like, okay, this isn't probably the path that I need to go on. I might not be able to follow in Master Gohan's footsteps and try to, you know, level it up. But I mean, he wasn't being arrogant about it neither. He was like, to be fair, Master Gohan's been fighting longer than I've been alive. And with that being said, and that being the case in point, he's like, okay, well, simply put, he just started training hard, using basically the remainder of the 2 weeks he had left, and then maybe about 2-ish months or so, training on complete mastery over the Super Saiyan form, so he could be like, you know, Gohan, and, you know, have that full control over it. And he's learning, you know, he's working on his moves and trying to make up moves and stuff like that. He was making one move where he'll shoot a ki blast, and then when he shoots that, he'll immediately dash to a different location. He'll do some hand signs that look kind of cool, and then shoot out a projectile. While they're distracted with all of this, he'll come through with his ki blade and start slashing them up if he doesn't have a sword. He was like, yeah, I think that'd be nice. And so it'd be something around that point in time, okay? So Trunks is training rigorously on this, and he's just trying to keep, you know, he's not even trying to keep his ki in his body like Gohan was, because that wouldn't really make sense, because he's just focusing on mastery and not trying to control his anger and rage. Because Trunks might have gotten angry or something like that, but I don't really, how do I put this? It was never really shown Trunks to have a rage boost, even though he was never written that way. And Gohan technically was written that way, and there was a lot of conflicts at the time of Gohan being written. But and I also think that Trunks in canon was technically a lot more calmer and a lot more reasoned thinking, especially by the time he got older. Because I mean, at that fucking point in time, your master died, you're the only survivor. He did do a lot of brash things, but I mean, after a certain point, he's like, all right, let me calm this shit down for real. Like, I'm bugging, I'm off the perks. Like, I don't know. But with that being said, he didn't have to focus on like keeping his massive anger in check. So he just focused on ki control and getting used to, you know, using high level attacks without depleting his ki. It's like an off-brand spirit fusion, if you may. So with that being said, that would explain most of Trunks' time. He's just sitting here trying to make different moves and trying to do different stuff like that, right? While Gohan, on the other hand, is like in this really deep section. Yamcha actually left a lot of markings, which don't ask how he did it, but he left a lot of markings on how far he went, and Gohan decided to take it up a notch, since he is the next generation, and go a bit further than this, okay? So he went a bit, you know, a good bit further than this, and then he made his own markings. Don't ask me how. And then Gohan decided to start training. He powered up his Super Saiyan, which is like in its deactivated form, and then him powering up, which it's not as cool looking. It's just like his hair doesn't really spike up or anything. Just you see the aura, and you can sense there's more power in the sort of sense. So Gohan's like, all right. He starts getting his light warm up, and he's like, all right, this is a little too easy. I need a little more of a challenge. Cocks back that one arm that he has, and he's just boom, power just starts to rise. The area around him starts to shake. The ice itself starts to break. He thinks about you, and as he's powering up, it all happens so slowly. His dad dying, Piccolo died, Krillin dying, and then Yamcha dying. And then it's like a brief flash of when he was a teenager, when he first won Super Saiyan 2. And then takes his you know, typical stance, but with one arm, or it's like a Yamcha stance, but you know, slightly modified, because it's the opposite arm. So like, let's say if he had his left arm back and his right arm forward, Yamcha would have that right arm forward, and you know, Gohan would have the other hand back, if you know what I mean. Something like that. Now that would be the best way I could explain it, but I digress. So basically, they got the hands, and he takes the stance and he begins to train. He's trying to get used to the Super Saiyan 2. Eventually, he'll make it his base form, but he's kind of, right now, he's treating it more like it's just regular Super Saiyan, if you know what I mean. So he's getting used to it, and for the most part, his training's going dummy easy, because he's able to let his anger out, but he doesn't. Every time he tries to, he gets calm and his energy starts to feel all weird, but we won't mind these minor details. So anyways, this would pretty much be the sum of their training, because it's not really too much that happens. Like, they got so much room. Gohan actually has training and knows how to teach people because he's been taught. Trunks has been taught and saved a lot of time, so Trunks' gains are going to be impressive. So then they spend the three months out of the 4 months, if I recall correctly, training something devious together, and you know, showing the fruits of the training, which, I mean, it's gonna be about the same here. They're just getting dumb strong. This is literally all that's happening. So your boy Gohan and Trunks do that. Boom, boom, boom. Good hands, good hands, good hands. And boom, he's like, so what's your progress on Super Saiyan 2? Trunks is like, I'm being realistic. I don't think I'm gonna be able to go Super Saiyan 2, but I can go extended. Even though this isn't what they would be calling it, they'd probably be calling it like 0.5 or something, because that's what Yamcha called it. So Gohan was like, I might as well just call it that. But I'm just saying this for the sake of simplicity. Anyways, so he's like, I'm able to go Ascended Super Saiyan, but that's about it. And got to the point where it's not too taxing, but the extended muscle mass doesn't. I'm not fucking with it, all right? He's like, I don't really like you like that. It's all right, okay? I can kind of chill out for a little bit, but he not feeling it. He preferred to be in that master state, because Trunks was like, it's more about a marathon than a sprint, and he was laughing because Yamcha said the same thing or some shit. And he was like, well, yeah, you're right, basically, buddy. This is why I made sure to master my Super Saiyan and, you know, keep it in check. You know, to make sure my emotions don't get the best of me, because I was a hothead in my younger days. And then they finish off that last month just with some good old sparring. Gohan goes out a little bit further than he really should have, but then he says, you know what, Yamcha was talking about red hair or something one time. I don't know what that was about. So Gohan does something he hasn't done in a while, and gets angry. He gets angry for about 5 minutes straight. And I mean, he just is angry. He keeps building up. He's just getting angry and angry. And then he exhales. The second he exhales, he inhales and he calms himself down instantaneously. And with that, as he's calming himself down, he's keeping all his ki in his body, because mentally he's thinking about all his anger leaking out, but he's actually mistaking that for his ki. And then for a very brief moment, a shiny, bright, red, fiery light shines, and Trunks sees it all the way back at where he's at. He's like, I wonder what Gohan's doing. And then Gohan just stops and exhales. What was that? Was this what Yamcha was talking about? No, that's impossible. That, I felt weird, but I don't know. That was way too difficult. But all he's thinking about right now is the fact that it's all he's thinking about is the simple fact that it was he got angry and he has to keep himself in check, and you know, he has to do all stuff like this. But we know something different. Catch y'all later. Alright, peeps. So basically, after Gohan got done with that last bit of training, I don't know how much time I said that was left, but I digress. they pretty much wrap up the last bit of training, go out with one good final spar session, and then as it happened originally, when Gohan was the, you know, student and not the trainee, they rested for about like 2 weeks or 2 weeks so, and then he got hit with the, do you think we could beat the androids? And Gohan's like, yeah, we will beat the androids. Different answer than Yamcha gave, which he was like, buddy, I hope so, shit. He's like, no, we will beat him. Oh, we will beat him. I lost too many people. As Gohan his hair starts to flicker and change colors, but Trunks decided not to say nothing because he's never seen his Gohan upset like this. And he's like, I've lost too many people to these monsters. Something around that effect, okay? And then he continues on with the speech for a little bit longer. And then after they rest for those like last, I want to say maybe like 3 weeks or so, they basically exit the time chamber a lot stronger than what they were when they left in. They go visit their peoples and relax outside in the, you know, normal world for a little bit. Maybe about maybe a week, 3 days. And they basically just sit there and eat up some food and just chill out for a little bit. I mean, the food they were eating wasn't too bad because Gohan knows how to cook. Due to him being in there the last time and knowing one day he might have to go back in there, he might want some actual home cooking, okay? So with that being said, and that being the point in case, eventually, the androids attack. They head out to battle. Gohan with one arm, Trunks ready. They are all like, yeah, let's go, let's go. Trunks is like, yeah, we're gonna fuck him up, we're gonna fuck him up. And Gohan's like, yeah, buddy. As Yamcha words ring more prevalent than they did prior, he's like, yeah, we're gonna fuck him up. As he puts his hand on Trunks' shoulder, he's about to knock Trunks out, but he thinks, he remembers what happened when he got knocked out all those years ago. And one of the things that Yamcha said to him was, you're gonna be in my situation one day. Maybe you'll do something different, but at the bare minimum, you'll understand why I did everything I did. And then Gohan started crying for like a good brief moment and a second there, because he didn't want to see Trunks all by himself. He didn't want to see Trunks dead, lying on the floor while Gohan was too weak to stop him. And he started crying because he was like, oh, I see, I understand, Yamcha. You didn't want me to be the reason. You didn't want me to die and you be the survivor. Like, he was like really like just really kind of like shooken up as he thought about this. And then he was like, but then he thought about it because he thought about it differently. He didn't want Trunks to find his unconscious dead body. If they were gonna do this, they were gonna do this together. But before he did that, he had to test something. He's like, yeah, Trunks, I'm gonna take them all my lonesome. If I fail in my journey, you'll be the last survivor for the Earth. Trunks is like, hell no. Like, Trunks actually starts speaking up. Normally, Trunks goes along with whatever Gohan says because he's like the older brother he never had. And Trunks is like, hell no. You got me fucked up if you think that's about to happen. And Gohan's actually slightly taken aback by this. He's like, huh? No, I'm not about to do that. Why would I sit there and let you take on these monsters on alone? Gohan, you've already been alone for so long. He talked about how many years he's been alone. And then you had to watch your master die as Trunks powers up himself. The thought of thinking about the androids taking you away from me, I will not stand for it. He takes his stance. If you want to try to do that, I'll have to knock you out and fight the androids myself. And then that would be how that small scruffle would end. They wouldn't really fight, but Gohan would be like, calm down, Trunks. Trunks powers back down just to base Super Saiyan. And because he actually powered up to Super Saiyan 2, which he can't inherently activate, but it's kind of like how everybody was using Super Saiyan originally, right? Like how they could use it, but they have to power up to it. But since Trunks was just so enraged at that given moment, so it's not like he's too far off from it. You know what I'm saying? He's like, all right, man, very well then, let's go. And the androids did, you know, eventually attack a building, reminiscent to how it happened all those years ago when it was Gohan and Yamcha. So they fly out, this time with a different demeanor. Gohan's wearing Trunks's not Trunks, but Yamcha's gi. So basically a sleeveless gi, like Goku doesn't, like, you know, Super, but I'll just say it has like a wolf symbol or something on it. And Gohan is like, y'all die today. And they're like, huh, it looks like y'all got some bigger britches. It looks like you may be a little bit stronger, but please, if that's the case, we'll just kill y'all here so we won't have no inner. And before they continue, Trunks, all you hear is Bernie, attack! Boosh! Android is shot back. 17 is shot back. 18 is like, oh, hell no. And start throwing hands with Trunks. Gohan starts walking and boom, power up and heads straight over for us, 17. And basically this is how the epic war and assault begins. Good hands, boo, 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 boo. And then they're tag teaming, like they're switching in and out. So Gohan fights 18 and vice versa, and they just keep switching out who they're fighting. But they're going all out. Trunks is in Super Saiyan, grade 1, but it's like a mastered grade 1 instead of just master super. While Gohan, he's in full powered grade I want to say like grade 3 or basically like grade 4, because I think that's the highest one. I think that's like the highest level of Super Saiyan before they go to Super Saiyan 2. Goo. The fight, they eventually start to lose a little bit of stamina, but not too much. And Gohan's like, Trunks, I need you to stay back and support me, okay? And Trunks is like, no problem. He powers up, since he's not in the fight as much, he powers up to that buff form that he used in a cannon, and he starts just shooting ki blasts at where he thinks they're gonna be and shit, right? And so Gohan powers up to Super Saiyan 2. And I mean, he powers up in his full power. He starts dogging on these androids, right? The androids are barely keeping up. And they're like, when did he get so strong? And Android 18's like, oh shit, we've been played for a fool. And 17's looking confused as he's down on the dirt. And Gohan's like, you know, walking towards them. He was fighting us all these years just to keep a gauge on how strong we were. But he never showed us his full power. And he was secretly doing training. And he was secretly doing training to get even stronger, blah, blah, blah. Basically what he was doing. And so, oh, if that's the case, huh? I'm gonna enjoy ripping him a new one. As they power up, not really power up, but as they start to exert more power. And Gohan's keeping up with them. This one's for Krillin! Who? This one? And like he's hitting like both of them with this. Like he's just hitting them with these devious combos. But basically it's like, this one's for Krillin, boo! This one's for Chaozu, boo boo. This one's for Yamcha, boo boo. This one's for Vegeta. And like the way he powers up is reminiscent to how Vegeta was flexing on Goku Black and Super. And this one is for my master, my sensei. All you hear is the wolf noise. Ooh. And then you hear Super Ultimate Wolfang Fist! And it blacks out, and then you see Gohan behind them, and then they just get hit with like these after shadows of wolves. And they're just down on the ground. He's like, I'm not taking my time with you. They start laughing. They gank it up. Wow, this is impressive. To think that you would be able to keep up with us like this. We had a feeling something like this may happen, 17 says. This is why Dr. Jerome must have figured out something. Who knows how he figured it out, but there's a way for us to fuse. And they're like, wait, what? Fuse? Wait, does he mean combine? And oh, Gohan boy, you fucked up. And he's like, what? And then they shoot a ki blast at him, right? And he's like, oh shit. And he's about to get hit with it, basically losing another arm. You fucked up when you thought you had the upper hand. Now die, boo. And then Trunks, as it happened when Gohan was a boy, Trunks is running, puts his arms in front, and blocks the ki blast. Boom. And then Trunks says before passing out, Gohan, I told you. I'd rather watch me die than see you pass. Goodbye, master. Yeah. And that's when, as Trunks is dying, and tears flow through Gohan's eyes. Anger, rage. And then, I mean, he just starts exploding. He just starts convulsing, and then his hair changes. It grows longer, and he roars, and he screams. And then, as he screams, two immense lights happen. As the androids do the fusion dance, and as Gohan turns Super Saiyan 3, enter the new battle arc. Super Saiyan 3 Future Gohan has entered the battle. And then we have the fusion of 18 and 17. We'll just call this Twin Fusion has entered the battlefield. What will happen on this next part? Find out on the next episode of What If Yamcha Survived the Future Timeline. So we left off that part with Trunks dying, and then Gohan enraged like no other. And bear with the wind, peeps, I'm sorry. But so basically Trunks out of commission. Gohan, fuck being tired, fuck being calm, fuck being patient, fuck all of this. Y'all gotta go. Trunks turns Super Saiyan 3. The androids somehow have access to fusion, which a quick backstory for that. For that was many years ago when Yamcha died, right? He the androids went back to Dr. Drazoro lab, one, to get, you know, new outfits, obviously, and two, to check on the status quo of, like, to see if there was anything they could do to make themselves stronger. They saw something about Cell, but they were like, whatever that is. They really didn't care about whatever this Cell thing was and his incomplete, imperfect form. It was 17 that saw it, so 18 would have done something about it. Anyways, they figured out that there was a couple of prototypes. If they performed these amount of dances, they would, you know, be able to, you know, fuse together. And since they had mechanical parts and all this other bullshit, basically we're dumbing it down for science. But little did Dr. Jerome knew, he actually really just discovered or rediscovered Metamorphin's fusion. But it might have been slightly too weak, so they might have to not do the whole steps or something. Because they were bragging about it ever so slightly. I'll say they did it during the fight about how, like, we didn't even do the long version, this, and that, blah, 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 right? But I digress. Let's get into this epic clash of the gods, okay? So, Gohan with tears in his eye. It's almost reminiscent to Super Saiyan 2. Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, but with just Super Saiyan 3 and I'm older. He's like, no more. No more. Poof. And so they start boxing. Boo, 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 boo. Good hands, good hands. And they're both at equal strength in this, like, regard, right? Like, they're going kick for kick, blow to blow, punch for punch, okay? Not one side giving up, okay? And Gohan has such high levels of ki control that Super Saiyan 3 is not nearly as draining as it would have been originally in canon. Like, you know, due to him being able to have mastery over Super Saiyan and him being able to turn Super Saiyan 2 on and off, basically with ease, it's almost like that's his new base form. I don't think it'd be too much of a stretch to say, you know, Super Saiyan 3 would be any different from this. So they're going blow to blow, fight, just boom, boom, boom. Once again, I apologize for the win on this particular one part, but boom, 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 good hands, good hands. And like they're throwing these like quality big body smoke hands, like, and it's almost like a tournament of power, nostalgic kind of like feel too, because as they're fighting, they're not just fighting where they're at, they're using most of the planet as their living playground. And the Twin Fusion says this, or TF for short, is literally saying the double voice though, but I'm not about to try to edit that in, but they're laughing like whole world, no, this whole universe is our playground. And so they basically just keep throwing more and more hands using like the planet, and Gohan doesn't sense energy around in the areas that they're going to. And so as this is happening, first they're fighting, boom, boom, boom. They're fighting away from where the fight initially started, right? Because they're moving at such high speed. First, they're fighting where Goku fought Vegeta, boom, 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 boom. Then, well, first they fight where Goku and Vegeta was. Then they're just fighting like in all these like unique and different places that have. It would also be some places in Dragon Ball, but since I'm not an expert and don't remember everything on Dragon Ball, we're not going to use that one. And so the fight just keeps commencing, and each blow, each kick gets intenser. Everybody in the planet is watching as this is happening. Don't ask how they're able to see people moving at such high speeds, but we could just say on some bullshit, like, they're stronger than your normal humans since they had to survive in rougher conditions. So we could say their average power levels are like 100, 200. Like, they're a little bit stronger than normal humans, because they've adapted to this life. Who cares? So they're watching as all of this is transpiring, right? Like just this epic massive clash of just boom, boom, these gods. These, oh shit. Ow, ah, fuck, ah, my ankle. No one saw that, right? Oh, fuck. Ouch. That took my soul away. Well, I was gonna edit that out, but I just like damn near died and fell. Holy shit. Oh, fuck. They basically going at it like boom, 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 boom. Goo, goo, goo. Him, I'm not giving you a room of mercy. Please, like you have bus. Fake fist. Twin blast. Boosh. Beep, 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 beep. And they're like, oh, everyone's like, please, win for us, Gohan, please. And he swears he heard his man. He heard Gohan, and he heard trust. With tears going through his eyes, and periodically, he puts his arm back and relaxes. I'm ending this now, he says. Hope, come. He caught, and then like as he's cocking his arm back, which he already had it cocked back, but then he just he's doing each Kamehameha. It's like reminiscent to how you know, I'm trying to think of it. His first Kamehameha is his father's. His next one is Krillin, because Krillin also showed him how to use it right a little bit before the androids attacked. And then he puts his hand all the way back, and he's got Trunks and Yamcha behind him, all his family members behind him. Not family members, but like Piccolo too. And he also puts his hand up at a weird angle, and he's like, this isn't just your ordinary Kamehameha. He does like multiple gestures as he's doing the singular Kamehameha. He also puts his hand on his forehead, above his forehead, and he's like, this is a hope. But I just say hope Kamehameha just because it sounds cool. So he's like, oh, Kamehameha, which is literally is just a spirit, a Masenko, a spirit beam, a spirit cannon, special beam cannon. There we go. And a Kamehameha put all into one. I don't know what the movements will look like, but I tried to describe it the best I could. But I digress. So he charges this blast and he shoots it at the androids, and the androids are like, oh. The androids laughing maniacally. They're like, well, if your move is called hope, I'll guess we'll call this, as their eyes begin to glow red, we'll call this destruction blast. And then they charge up their ki blast, and then they're just like, destruction, boo, boo. And then they have like this epic blast beam struggle, boom, boom. Energy's flying out everywhere. Pain just one side is hope and one side's destruction, and where everybody's with their hope. Everybody was with their pain. It's just all these dramatic emotions going in and going out at once. And then Gohan hears Trunks. You can do it, master. He hears Yamcha. You got this, Gohan. And he hears Goku, but clearer than the other. Go, let your energy soar. Stop holding back. But it's like a lot faster than that, than, you know, dragged out. It's all at once. Like, let your energy soar. Stop holding back. And then Gohan snaps, and then he just releases all his ki at once. And then he just releases it with every single person behind him. Hell, you even see Vegeta in this. And just with everybody behind him, and he just shoots out this massive ki wave. And then everyone's like, yes, he's doing it. And they're like, no, this is impossible. JK, you think you were the only one doing secret training? Die, human. And now the blast is right back to being even. Not one side wavering, not one side giving up. And he's like, I'm not human. I am a And then poof, a like unlikely wave of energy explodes and poof, a big giant explosion. Both of them getting sent back flying. Poof, poof, poof. And they're just stand up. Gohan battle damage. As he looks down and looks around, he's like, maybe this is how Yamcha felt. No, this isn't how Yamcha felt. Because Yamcha didn't let me fight with him that day he died. And then he just poof, poof. They both charge at each other. Back to fighting again. But androids don't have stamina. So Gohan started getting tired. His breath started to lack. But his will and determination, and on the top of the fact that everybody was passively giving away energy to this dude, oh, it kept him in the fight a lot longer than he should have been. And then, boom, boom, boom. Gohan does a backflip over an android's head, slides back, takes his fighting stance. The androids take a stance reminiscent to Goku, and then they begin. They're about to start their brawl. Gohan starts beating down on the androids. Boom! A jab into their fighting style. Boom! Boom! As he towers over them. You're no longer the superior one here. He puts a hand out. This one is especially for Piccolo. And he shoots a ki blast. About to annihilate. And I mean annihilate the androids. And then it happens. Gohan transforms down back to damn near base form and then collapses to the ground. As the androids see this, they get up and swing a kick at Gohan, but they deform too, and both of them miss. As Gohan gets up, some of his hair was falling out, not really falling out, but just let's say he got, like, you know, barely hit by the kicks. He's like, it's been a while since I had black hair. As he looks over to both the androids, let's get this fight really going. Gohan is tired, don't get me wrong, but he's still got a good amount of fight in him. And then he like starts fighting and he's losing, but he's keeping up. Because they're all weakened from this point. Gohan gets back up, the androids are staggering towards him. Because the androids, they've taken a good beating too, but they're not like that. Everyone's still got a good amount of fight in them. Okay? And then you just hear a voice. Please hurry up, eat this. It's a feminine voice, a voice Gohan's never heard before. And Gohan rarely, he looked at the androids and was like, have y'all heard this voice before? And they shake their head in disbelief, like, no. Hurry up, Trunks, please eat this. Your mom would kill us if you didn't come back, please. And then you hear Trunks, who are you? Don't worry about it, but I'm here to save the day. As a feminine girl reminiscent to Yamcha's ki, Gi comes out of the forefront. I don't have a name for her yet, so I might actually let y'all decide what her name is. But she comes out about the same age as Trunks. Don't worry. We humans need to stand up for ourselves and fight. as she shows resembling Yamcha's appearance but slightly different. Isn't that right, Dad? And Yamcha comes out. Yep, that's most definitely the case. Gohan, didn't I tell you the hero is always waiting till the last second to show up like Goku used to? And that's where we leave this part off. So we left off with, Yamcha making an appearance. Yamcha has entered the battlefield. And his daughter, which I once again do not have a name for, but I will just kind of probably wait until y'all see this part, and then if y'all want to make a name for his daughter and who the mother may be, because it can't be Mai, because Mai would be a child technically during this time. Well, I mean, she would be Trunks' age, guys, okay? And I understand if y'all like lollies and all, but that just wouldn't work for the story sense. Because I'm pretty sure there's at least like someone from Dragon Ball or somebody, because it might be Launch, but I got mixed feelings about that, but we could possibly do that, but I still don't know what her name would be. And it's got to be something potentially like reminiscent of like a wolf, or like a wolf related, or like a plant being blossomed, or something like just dummy cool, okay? Anyway, so let's get back to the actual action. We can have the slice of life later. So basically, Yamcha and his daughter go through, and Yamcha's like, can you go handle one of those androids? And she's like, this is the one that took your arm. And let's just say 18 did it, right? And she's like, yeah, that is the one that did take this arm of mine. And basically, she powers up and she does the wolf power, wolf personified, and all you hear is "Hoo," like when Yamcha does the wolf fang fist. I just want to emphasize that so y'all have a mental image of how it sounds. And she powers up, but it's like a lot stronger, and she gets like not bulkier, but more of her features become distinct and animalistic, like, and she blasts it off and starts beating up on the android, okay? Not like just dogging on him, but like throwing some quality good hands with this android. You feel me? So with that being said, Yamcha is looking at Gohan like he's down on the ground, while 17 is just like, you think you can beat us just because you jump us? Please, y'all know how many times y'all tried that and it hasn't worked? To be fair, I haven't really got much stronger over the years. I've literally just been training that one right there just to make sure she gets stronger. And so really what happened is Yamcha, just a quick, we're not going to do his whole backstory of what happened to him, but we're just going to do a quick one, and we're literally just going to talk about how he's, been training, of course, and he's just really been, working on getting better, but not inherently training for himself. Like, he's been training more for helping out his daughter get stronger and shit like that, okay? So it's not like he's been doing like how Gohan was, like he was training to improve. Yamcha wasn't training to improve. Yamcha was training to help his daughter get better so she could fight the androids. Because as Yamcha said when he first came in, it's time for the humans to step up, and his daughter's full human, okay? So his daughter is fighting one android, and Gohan is like, hey, is that really? Yes, it's really me, man. How you been? I know I left you alone for all these years. And he pats him, and he swears he felt Goku with him. It's weird. It's almost like Goku was right on the other side. You remember what we did in that time chamber all those years? He's like, yeah. Well then, it's time to make it really count. He's like, wait, what? But I've been doing no. For more, he gets on one side of the android, formation B. Gohan steps up, raring to go, and he takes his stance. And he's like, you remember when I told you might want to practice this formation with one arm? And then he's like, yeah, we'll make it make sense later. So they blast off. And as I'm just saying all of this, he's like, now it's time for you to get a taste of your own medicine jumping up on somebody. And the Android 17's like, without his sister there, and is in a slightly not as strong state, this may hurt. Boom. Yamcha goes into his next evolved wolf personified. His hair grows slightly, not really hair grow, but it becomes more wild. His eyes glow more of a sinister red. His nails extend even longer, and you swear you see more of a wolf come out of him. And he's like, and
and Gohan's like, boom, 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 boom. And if it was shown, it would be kind of like, it would be looking like how it would look like how it was when they killed like some of their friends or something. He's hitting them with the same thing that him and 18 hit somebody else with, just to show like, you know, payback's a bitch on some shit, right? So they pew 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 pew, and as they're throwing hands or whatever, formation C, formation D, and they're getting hit. He's getting hit with all of it. 17 is bam 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 boom, and then both of them just like step back and they're just like, Go on, I need you to push past your limits just a little bit further, man. We got him right where we want him. And then meanwhile, what's happening with the other fight is Trunks is kind of having a mean headache. And he's like, he's got a senzu beam, but mental shock, bro. He almost died. And that was the closest he's ever come to death. Zenkai boost feels amazing, though. But he's trying to figure out who is this goddess fighting that android. Because that nigga thought he went to heaven for a minute. He's like, who is this? Like, who are you? Like, on some shit, right? Anyways, so that's happening. Trunks is confused, and she's like, I can't believe you monsters. I've trained my whole life to defeat you. And 18's like, girlie, don't even think you're gonna be able to beat me. You're just a novice. You're just a human. Exactly. As she powers up. That's exactly why I stand right here upon this day to defeat you. My start is your end. Prepare yourself. Wolfang Fist. And she does the variation that Gohan was trying to do, but he doesn't have both arms. And it's perfect. It's a flawless Wolfang Fist, and it also projects outwards. And what I mean by that is it's like a projectile damn near. So, boom, 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 sends her down to the ground. That's not the end of it. Boom, Kame. Android 18 blocks it, makes an energy barrier. Fight commences. Boom, 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 boom. Good hands. And then let's go back to where they're jumping. Gohan's on one side. Actually, we'd come back to as they're fading into one another. And what I mean by this is Gohan and future Yamcha, they would like basically do what the androids do, where they like go right behind one another, and then they'll attack simultaneously. But the thing with this is, Gohan and future Yamcha both have the opposite arm missing. So when they do this, it becomes a little different. So you're fighting somebody with just 2 arms, but 4 legs. I digress. You're getting jumped, okay? So with this being said, and this being the case, point, bro, it's devious. And then Gohan makes the point like, hey, how we gonna take him down? Because he's still pretty strong, and we're gonna get tired eventually. And I'm running on fumes here. And Yamcha's like, nah, we got him right where we want him. And then they basically hit him with the same thing that they hit Yamcha with all those years ago. A17's getting up like, I'm not gonna lose to you. It's too late. Master Roshi, you ready? Master Roshi walking in with all the fucking swag in the world. Yeah, youngster, I'm gonna show you how it's really done. Watch and learn, Gohan, as he flicks a bottle out onto the ground. Well, he flicks it outwards and then lands on the ground. And he already took the cap off. Master Roshi takes his stance. I can't let you youngsters show me up now. I've been hiding for too long. It's time for the humans to take back this planet. Mafuba. Android 17's like, wait, what? What's happening? And since he's so weakened, he gets sealed. And click. And then he tosses that into a rice cooker. Well, he doesn't do it yet. He just holds it, and then he just puts it down. And we could say he gives this to the pig, okay? Or the fucking cat. It doesn't matter who he gives it to, but he puts it down for a second. And then you can literally hear Wolfang Fist noises going in the background, and also seeing Yamcha's daughter put the beats onto 18. Boom, kicks her. And then Gohan's like ready. He's like, no, we shouldn't. Let's not take this over. He's like, Yamcha takes his stance. Kaioken times 200. His
energy and aura expands, and he hits her 3 good times, knocks her down. She as Yamcha looks up, it's not good when you're the one down on the ground suffering, is it, Master Roshi? Now, as she begins to try to attack him, I'll take you with me. Phew, she gets sealed up too. And then Master Roshi puts a seal on a rice cooker and locks them up. And Gohan's like, we did it. Yamcha pops down. Because he's technically not out of training, but he's not nearly as strong as his daughter. His daughter had motivation. She's never seen these people. They beat her dad up, and her dad's so strong. So she had reason, okay? I'll digress. Everyone pops down. Goku, Piccolo, Goku. No, he would say father, but we did it. Yamcha saying the same thing, but different. And this is where it would end for the future timeline that we're concerned about. But we can't forget about Cell. So the one that has Cell in it had a different ending. Normally this is where I would leave the part off, but let's talk about it. Cell just arriving at the battlefield, everyone relaxing. And then they all sense this power. And they're like, wait, what? Who is this? Everyone gets up, weakened. The only warriors that aren't completely exhausted is Trunks, Yamcha's daughter, which I really got to give her a name, but like I'm still continuing the second part of her introduction. And on top of this, Yamcha, but Yamcha's getting older. Like if you do recall, he is human, okay? And Yamcha's getting a little bit older, but we'll talk about that in a moment. So he's getting older, and they're all like, wait, what's going on? And Cell plops up and is like, it seems like I've came too late. I won't be able to absorb any of your the androids to achieve my perfection. But thanks to that, what was her name? Boma, yes. I was able to figure out more than I needed. And oh, her energy was delectable. And the Trunks is like, what did you do to my mom? Oh, the same thing I'm gonna do to you, Trunks. Absorb you. Trunks goes at the Cell with rage and fury, powering up. Him going straight to Super Saiyan 2. And he's like, excellent. Cell grabs this nigga by the fucking face and just like looks at this nigga like, you're a bitch. Puts this nigga down to the ground, puts his fucking foot on this nigga and starts absorbing his energy. We're gonna say that Trunks is like dummy strong though, so like he doesn't get like completely absorbed, or we can say he dies. It actually don't matter. Doesn't matter for what's about to come next. He pretty much gets absorbed to fucking a vegetable damn near, or if not dead. The Yamcha daughter goes in trying to throw a hand, but she gets one-shotted, and Cell absorbs a little bit of energy, but Yamcha comes into play, grabbing him, similar to how the Cybermen grabbed him all those years ago. This is crazy. I knew I lived for a reason, and I guess it was this. This move was used against me many years ago, back when I was a coward. But today I'm not. I am not letting you hurt any more of my family. My son, Gohan, and my daughter. Insert name here. And then Gohan and Yamcha's daughter is just overwhelmed at what just happened. They're just and then Cell. That tickled a bit, but with all that boredom, the biomass that kid Trunks had, I'm so much stronger now. As he powers up, releasing an unholy amount of energy. And all of them are terrified and shaken. Go on. He gets up. So you're telling me I finally see my master after years and years. Then he dies again. And then my disciple dies too. And I'm left with just this. No. Gohan somehow controls his anger and not let it get the best of him. Also due to the fact that he is technically exhausted and controls it. And then his hair goes gold. Not gold, but no, red. This must be the power of a god. Massive amount of ki is going everywhere. As Gohan just charges up at Cell. Cell's like, wait, what? Boom, boom, boom. 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 Just starts dogging on Cell, something devious. Then you killed Bulma. I might not be able to kill you, but oh, I'm gonna make you remember me. This one's for Bulma. This one's for Chunks. Hits him in the fucking solar plexus. This one is for Yamcha. Quick pause. Remember how I talked about all the Earthlings are a little bit stronger? Yeah. Cell was absorbing those niggas too. Anyways, this is for all the humanity you stole from us. He powers up and just dogs on Cell, hitting that nigga into the fucking ground. He does the Hope Kamehameha, but since he's Super Saiyan God right now, it's the God of all Hope Kamehameha, nigga. This is for everyone. Giant ass explosion. Cell is technically eviscerated, but you see a little bits of him, and he starts regenerating. Dr. Gero might have been a weakling himself, but his designs were splendid. Oh, thank you, Gohan, as Gohan leaps down on the ground, exhausted, with no more fight in him. I appreciate everything you've done for me. As Cell walks towards him and looks him dead in the eyes, having flashbacks to the androids and how everyone was lost to him. Tears, crying, his will broken. I think I should kill you now, but it might be better to let you live and rot in this suffering. And I want you to know something. I'm going to a completely different timeline with people far weaker than you. And I'll achieve my perfection, and then no one, and I mean no one, will be able to stop me, son Gohan. Have fun in this desolate world. I need my perfection. As Cell just walks away with that, weird Cell walking noise. And he's like... as Gohan is just sitting there crying, bloodied and battered. Yeah. And Gohan is just crying. And you hear Cell laughing. You hear him walking away. And then it fades out to black. Now we would briefly go back to our timeline. And also note, I can also do a part X where I'm talking about the X timeline. It's not called that, I don't think, but that would be the timeline where Cell came from, because there's room to continue that, because that has so many implications, okay? But we will talk about that on another episode, quite literally. Let's go back to the main one right now that we're dealing with. So after they defeat the androids, everyone's like, we did it. We did it. And for this one, the main difference here is Cell doesn't wake up as early. For whatever reason, it doesn't matter. We need one timeline to actually go back in time. And so they are all happy. They have a reunion and stuff, but they don't really inherently talk about, what they're gonna do. But Yamcha brings up the idea, wait, I don't know why I didn't think about this sooner. Why don't we just go back to planet Namek? They're like, wait, what? Think about it. Two out of the three of y'all can go back in time, while the other, me and whoever, goes to planet Namek. Think about it. One uses the time machine, and one doesn't. Okay, think about it. If one of us go and the future doesn't change, right? We'll get the Dragon Balls to revive our friends, possibly, or at least some of them. I don't know how that's going to work. Restore the planet back to what it was before the androids attacked. And then if it does change, cool, it doesn't matter. But if it doesn't change, we'll change that timeline and ours simultaneously. And then Gohan's like, okay, very well then. So who should go back into the timeline? That's a good question. Because everyone's going to know who you or me are, because we already exist. And I'm like, wait, hold up. And then I feel like Trunks would speak up. Trunks would say, wait, hold up. Wouldn't it make more sense for y'all two to go? Or wait, wouldn't it not matter? Because if we get a race either way, wouldn't it not matter of who goes? Trunks. Everyone looks at Trunks like he just said something stupid. He got a point. Like, he not wrong. So, they're all looking around like, damn, who should go? Who should go? All right, boys, might be where I actually leave it off because I won't be able to continue it off without input, so I'm going to have to do a double upload just so y'all can catch up to all these videos I made at once. But basically, how should I do this? Who should go with who, okay? If we have Yamcha and Gohan go together, okay, what would happen, right, is they would just reunite with everyone. It would be all tearful, heartful. Trunks and Gohan could go together. It would just be Trunks, learning about, Gohan and seeing him when he was younger. If Gohan and Yamcha's daughter, that hasn't had a name yet, goes together, they're going to be, it's going to be an interesting dynamic since they've never met nobody. Since, she hasn't met nobody and Gohan's been trained by her father. Trunks and daughter, like, it's literally endless possibilities. And then the same thing would be true on planet Namek. Gohan goes, he's gonna be like, hey, but I really think Gohan should go back to the future just so it has an interaction with younger Gohan. Tell me what y'all think, and I will catch up.
If you're seeing this means you're a specimen of something unique, wonderful, and amazing. For the fact that you sit through 3 hours of content, regardless if it was over a time span of a day or two, or you did it all in one sitting because you're just that bored. Thank you. And if you like the content, support your boy. Not inherently financial. You can if you have the means, but a like, a comment talking about your favorite part, your favorite thing about the story. Because I personally am very accomplished and feel very accomplished for this story that I've crafted thus this far. And do not forget to answer the question I asked at the very end of the videos, because Yamcha daughter need a name. Okay? I need y'all to tell me what y'all think on which team should go for which reason, you feel me? Like, as I said in the video, but just paraphrasing it roughly, right? We got it to where, Yamcha and Gohan can go. He can see his people. Trunks and Gohan can go so they can see their people. And don't think it's easy breezy because they about to go to Planet Namek. It's going to be some fun on there, too. So a fight's going to be going on there. Another fight's going to be going on there. And since you made it this far, I'll give you a little insight on something that's going to happen in the future part, potentially. Videl, Gohan, Pan, sooner than you think.